We've never had that
That
before.
was professional.
Yeah. We need is one of those things where they snap the,
Yeah. That's next month.
ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're recording?
Yep, we are.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Hideaway Hills Club Board of Trustees meeting for May 17th, 2022. Before we make a motion to adopt this agenda, unfortunately, I have to amend the agenda. We received a late email.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Sorry about that.
Do you have what to amend this?
Mhm.
Okay.
There you go. Bring it down.
We good?
Okay.
Sorry, folks. Again, before we can make a motion to adopt this agenda, I received a email late this afternoon, and despite my best efforts, have to make an amendment under unfinished business. Bullet point, proposed building code revisions. We need to replace easements slash setbacks with demolition fees and fines. And we will vote to approve that this evening. And we also need to add a proposed building code revision, 6-month permits and fines, and we will vote to publish that in the Echo going forward. Can I get a motion to accept to amend the posted agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Linda Lonzinger,
I'll second.
seconded by Mary Beth Fisher. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. President's report. It's been a busy month. It's, I first wrote down that it's hard to believe that in less than 2 weeks, it'll be Memorial Day, but we're ready for it, right? And with the start of summer, which obviously Memorial Day signals, we are in line to have our first concert here at the amphitheater, which is always fun. The pool is being readied and will be scheduled to be open Memorial Day weekend, as I understand it. Drove by there over the weekend and it's full, and I think you're being treated. Andy, you may have more to say with that during your update. The lines on the roadway and in the corners have reappeared thanks to Cookie and Nancy, which is a good thing. I can't believe how much it makes me pay attention to what I'm doing when I go around the corners.
And also they had cheap labor, their husbands also helped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll come back. That'll come back to bite you. But I saw an email this week from a group that we really don't give enough credit to, and they work their fingers to the bone from us, and that's the ACC committee. We last I looked, and sometimes people wonder what occupies a good portion of our time. I think we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 permits currently in the works. That either being requests and or adjustments and variances and easements and things like that to garages and new homes. And believe me, when we hit this time of year, there is a ton of activity that's associated with that. And thankfully, we've got a very good ACC committee and they're on top of things. But you know, it's something that is very tough to keep track of. So hats off to the ACC committee. I don't want to let the meeting go by without mentioning that we are in the process of making sure that we hit all our marks for the annual meeting in August, to include the candidates that are up for election or that we will approve to be up for election. But also all of the dates and all the notifications and making sure that they're posted at the proper time. And really making sure that some of the things that for one reason or another, we had a problem with in the past, that we make sure that they're done properly. And Linda Hodges is leading that charge. So thank you, Linda. Last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention watching your speed in Hideaway Hills. It's that time of year. We've got plenty of people out walking, hiking, walking their dogs, kids, whatever. And I've already seen it and heard and had calls with it being a problem. And speaking of dogs, be kind and courteous to your neighbors, because we always have barking dog issues this time of year. So that's all I have in the way of a president's report. And I will turn it over to the review of the April 2022 board minutes and motions with Linda Hodge.
I move to approve the April 19th, 2022 minutes.
Second.
Was that Doug Parker? Motion made by Linda Hodge to approve the April 2022 minutes, seconded by Doug Parker. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Correspondence, Linda Hodge.
All right, we have one letter here from Al and Barb McLaughlin, lot 637, year-round residents since 1986. This is handwritten, so give me a break here in reading this and deciphering a bit. Chaz Cross, I want to commend you and the board for your decision to have our roadways swept this spring. Not only was it a job well done, but the timing was perfect. Back in the day, we decided to help the terrible dust problem by tar and chipping the roads. Good idea, and it helped tremendously. However, the whole process was diminished when we left the winter sand, etc., on the roads. We had about the same amount of dust as if we hadn't tar and chipped. Of course, we need these cinders saved, etc., on the roads for winter safety, but your timing in removing them from the road was excellent. Your decision to remove the winter cinders from the roads greatly enhances the quality of HAH, and your early decision to do so gave us that quality so much quicker. Really nice job, Chaz, and thank you for all your leadership.
And I would have to back that up by saying that I had absolutely nothing to do with the roads being swept. That is entirely Andy and the management committee's call and process. And I believe this is probably the third or fourth year in a row. And so I can't take credit for it, but people notice. We appreciate it. Okay.
Sure do.
We'll move to the treasurer's report with Cabot.
All right, things are starting to pop a little bit, but back in April, it was not nearly as busy as it is this month. I can tell you that firsthand. We started with a balance forward of $146,237. We finished at the end of April with $147,657.06. So everyone should have a copy of this. I make a motion that we accept this treasurer's report for April 2022.
Motion made by Cabot. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
That was
Me.
Linda Hodge. Any discussion on Cabot's treasurer's report?
Yeah, can we finally change the food?
I did put it on there. Did you
Fun
see
Food and
that?
Fellowship?
You see it? Capital bold letters,
No,
food service.
Where? Not on the one I got.
This one,
Well, oh, that's the fake one.
that's the official.
That's the fake one. Okay. We don't have any more food and fun here anymore. So
It's,
just service.
Come on.
it should be on the template from now on as food.
That's fine.
service.
That's fine.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Management Committee report, Mr. X Everly.
Good evening. How's the sound coming across for y'all?
Good.
Good. Okay. So we had a very good management committee meeting last week. We'll start off with our two fund totals. Our capital fund is sitting right now at $488,322.41, and our depreciation fund is at $431,596.93. Now there are some expenditures coming out of those, so they will come down. Julie and Andy have done a good job of updating the capital and depreciation worksheets that we use, and we're almost ready to roll those out, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you all and the membership and the management committee and Andy to understand where we're at and make sure we don't overspend. So we'll have those done. We're really close. And what I'd like to ask for, Chaz, is next meeting, I'd like an extra 10 minutes, and I would like to share those with the Board of Trustees so they can understand where we are. If you have time in July, or excuse me, in the June meeting, I would appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay, great. We did have one expenditure request. This was one of those little emergencies we come up with. We didn't expect to have to do it this quick. JJ has been watching a tank chiller for the brewery system, and we were kind of doing some research and keeping an eye on it. Well, all of a sudden it decided to croak on us. It went down. Rick from maintenance was able to get it going. It went down again. We got it going, and so we need to purchase one. So the actual purchase price of the unit is $8,500, but we did go to a $15,000 not to exceed because we're not sure if there's any electrical or plumbing that's going to need to be repaired throughout that. I guess if we were smart, we would have gone with $14,999, but we will need Board of Trustees approval for this expenditure. And again, I don't expect it to be much above $10,000, but we wanted, because it came up so fast, we wanted to be safe. So what this does is it keeps the fermentation tank at the correct temperature, I believe is the exact thing. So if you all have time to approve that, I would appreciate that.
Need to make a motion up to.
Up to 15,000, right? Can you say it again, Rex, what you want the motion to be?
We would like a motion to approve the purchase of a tank chiller for the brewery system.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so the motion that's made is to purchase a tank chiller for the brewery. And we have a
And what
motion made by Cabot
What was the price?
up
of
to
it?
$15,000. Motion made by Cabot. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Linda Lonzinger. Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Question though, real quickly, as far as things that were delayed because of delivery, it seems like everything is, from lawnmowers to everything else. So is this thing something that they can get in quickly? Rex, are you going to be able to acquire said?
They
piece of
can,
machinery?
they can save the beer. Yes, one was in stock, ready to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an important vote, so people pay attention. We can't have a problem with the beer. But okay, Cabot's question was, is this something that's readily available? And to Rex's point, it should be.
Yes,
So we should be good to go. So Cabot, you made the motion. Do I have a second? That was at Linda.
Mhm.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
okay, thank you very much, and all of our beer drinkers appreciate you as well. We next is on golf course notes, and last week We did do spring core area aerification. That's tough to say. After on Tuesday and on Wednesday, I have not heard that any major problems with that. I hope the putts are rolling straight by now. And we really think that both with the help we're getting from the golf committee, from folks on the management committee, from a consultant, that I think the golf course is doing real well, and we're going to continue with that. So that's good. RFID Go Live is scheduled for June 27. We put that off. We needed to give the office a little more time to process requests, and we needed the time to get ready to sign people up. A member communication and a decal request forms have been sent to membership. We will repeat that communication coming up here in about a week, probably 2 more times before the installation dates, and again before go live. We'll also put kind of an ad or a notice in the Echo to explain it as well. We want people to understand it. Installation is scheduled for the days of June 4, 5, 8, 11, 12, and 15. We are still looking for some volunteers. We're pretty good. We're a little more than half of what we need, and we've got some locations full and some not so full. So we may have to shuffle some folks around. But if you are interested in helping us install RFID decals on those dates, please email myself or the office, and we'll get you on the list. And I appreciate all the folks from the Board of Trustees that have signed up to help. But that's very helpful for us. We did have some small number of members that have brought up some special situations that may require some flexibility in the decal process. And we understand that we need to be flexible somewhat, but for the RFID system to provide security for membership, we need to know that each decal is attached to a vehicle that has permission to enter our gates. So special situations will be considered on an individual basis and tightly controlled by security, club management, and management committee. Guys, I think my sound was messing up. Did you catch all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Any questions on the RFID? Okay, very good. So next on the list, we talked about our 2022 road maintenance plan, and I want to thank the member who complimented us on the sweeping. We spent that cost us some money, but it needed to be done. I agree, and we will plan on doing that again and again because it's the right thing to do. Actually, I think in future sweepings, because it's been done, it's not going to take quite as long each time. So Rick and Andy and I drove most of the roads, not most of the roads, many of the roads a few weeks ago. And as you remember, maintenance committee put together a road plan a couple of years ago. And so we're following through on that plan. The good thing is we've got most of our major routes chip sealed and in good condition to where we're going to hold off on chip sealing this year. And we need to build some structure on the next set of roads before going to chip seal. So we have a section of Wolverine, and it changes names a couple times, but basically on the north, Wolverine around the north end of the lake and matching up to Natchez that goes up by the clubhouse. There's no sense chip sealing that right now. We need to get some patching done, some edge work done on that. So what we're going to do for this year is we're going to start doing maintenance patching by our maintenance team. We're going to spend roughly $50,000 to $75,000 doing that internal patching. We will contract with McKee Paving to do some patch overlays around the hills, similar to what we did, if you remember, when, at the same time last year, when we did the front gate project, we did a patch down by Lake Eagle Claw. We'll be doing some more of those, putting some structure in the roads. Our total budget's going to be $150,000, and right now, whether we spend 100 internally and 50 with McKee, or 75, or how that works out, we don't know yet. It's going to just depend on what happens, with the patching and what we can get done internally. But I want to commend maintenance. They know that we need to add width to a lot of our roads, and they have built a pole spreader box to pull behind their new cat loader. And that's going to help them get some mix on the edges. We're also going to rent some equipment. We need a true asphalt roller and another asphalt compactor to get this patching done correctly, and so it lasts longer. So so a little bit different this year. I feel real good of the chip seal we've done the past 3 or 4 years, and that's put us into the situation where we can take a break and put our money where it needs to be. So any questions on the roads? Last thing is, I want to talk about the lodge electrical improvements. Marty's been doing a great job with this, and so is our contractor, and so is Rick. Contractor's been, and may be complete by now, but has been completing the repairs and modifications to the electrical circuits in the lower level. They're also putting together a full set of electrical plans for the lodge and the swimming pool, so to prepare for improvements planned by South Central Power. So when South Central Power is ready to go underground with our feed to the lodge and the swimming pool, and also to the trash compactor, we're going to need to update some transformers and some fuse panels and whole bunch of stuff that I don't quite understand, to bring that lodge electrical up to at least last century and hopefully this century. So these are ongoing, and they're going to continue going. We spent several $1,000s, or we're spending several $1,000s now, and we're going to have several thousand more in equipment to purchase. A lot of this equipment will be coming to you in the next month or two to purchase, because they have long lead times of 40 weeks plus, and we're going to have to get approval, get them ordered, and then hope that it comes in so that we can finish this project within a year. So that is our report for our May Management Committee meeting. I'm available for any questions or comments from the board.
Gentlemen, will we get an update on the security truck in your, okay, that's all I need to know.
Yep.
Anything else?
Andy,
Nope.
did I miss anything?
No, I think you're good.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rex. One thing I neglected to announce at the beginning of the meeting was the fact that Tim Weibel is excused and absent tonight. We got disposition on Tim just before the meeting, and I apologize that I did not get that added. Next up is Andy Freeman and the general manager's report.
All right, wonderful. Make sure I'm at the mic here this time. I'm gonna go ahead and just give a big shout out to our maintenance and security for their dedication and service to this community. They've been behind the scenes, making this community safe and running like a well-oiled machine. So be sure to thank them for their service. I've become well bonded with them in the little over a month that I've been here, and they are dedicated to this community. So hats off to them. We've got some current preventative maintenance projects that we're working on. I'm just going to list them. Roads and the culverts. We've been working on the right-of-way trees along the roads. The lodge electrical that Rex had explained, that project is going very, very well and on schedule. Very happy with the contractor that we hired to do that, our maintenance team and so forth. So it's running very, very well. The microbrewery chiller went down, and it's good that we have another one on tap. No pun intended there. But that will be pretty soon that we'll be getting that in.
I like that we're covering that twice, so we're sure it's,
We've had some issues with the grease trap here at the lodge, but we've taken care of those issues. And it'll be on a preventative maintenance schedule as well. So again, maintenance team is on top of that. There's been a lot of pool prep, getting ready for the new season. And we've shocked it. We've done testing. Everything is pretty good to go. So we're just waiting on a few components and stuff too. And the pool will be open, is scheduled to be open Memorial Day weekend. So maintenance has been working tirelessly on that. So
and how are we on lifeguards?
right now we are in the need of lifeguards. I did talk to, Rick talked to Anna, our pool manager, and saying that we're still in the need of some lifeguards. We've got some that are coming back from last year. But if you know anybody that would like to guard and stuff, I think it's a scheduling issue at this point in time. So keep on the lookout for that. Let's see here. We've also had some connectivity issues with the internet at the clubhouse that we've been working with Spectrum on, as well as the security building and so forth. And we're in the process of kind of reorganizing that and getting the Spectrum, and Annie knows what we've been going through on that. Golf course maintenance team. We had the spring core aeration that was happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. And hopefully our greens will be in a little bit better shape. But this was a key maintenance item that had to be done to our golf course. And just again, hats off to our maintenance team on the golf course for just we had some dry weather for once. So we had to take advantage of that. So that's good to go. And then lakes and dams, preventative maintenance and update on the EAP, the Emergency Action Plan. Working currently on that. I know Marty had been working on that with ODNR, and so we're on schedule to get the draft to them by the end of the month. And then we do have an inspection for the Lake of Four Seasons Dam, June 22nd. So we've already scheduled that, and we're in good standing. So we're excited about that. Speaking of lakes, just an important note coming from the general manager. I just want to remind our members and our guests to be aware of your speed on the lake. And, we want to make this a safe atmosphere for everybody, and an enjoyable atmosphere. We don't want any accidents. And those areas that are no wake zones, they're no wake zones for a reason. So let's just keep a mindful eye. Those that are new members and stuff too, you can ask members that have been here for a long time just to make sure that we're safe in the lake. So I just want to put that shout out to our security team.
Speaking of that, Andy, I don't believe I've heard any dialogue going back and forth about patrol on the lake this year.
Yeah, so they are going to be patrolling the week before Memorial Day weekend. We have the boat that's going to go in, I believe, next week. We're getting the final touches on the patrol boat to get a cover on it and so forth, but that is in the works. So it will be out on the lake, usually Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays during the summertime and on holidays, and then sometimes throughout the week and stuff too. So
The big shoes to fill from Roger, okay, and the guy we had out there the last time, so he
yes.
better be on his game.
Sure he has
Okay.
his horn.
And anything else, Andy?
Yeah, just a couple more things. Also want to give a shout out to the lodge and the clubhouse staff for rearranging their schedules and just doing the best job that they can do. We do have some staffing issues as far as finding people. And so if there's anybody that knows of an individual or individuals that would like to work at either the clubhouse or the lodge, please see me or our office staff, and we can get you hooked up with an application and so forth.
And that's a good point. I mean, everybody that's in search of labor nowadays has the same problem, and Hideaway Hills is no different. As a matter of fact, we may even be a step behind that because we're so isolated.
Right.
So yeah, hats off to those guys.
Yes. Just a couple of things that update on the security pickup. It is in Detroit. It's off the rails and we should be seeing it within the next couple of weeks. So that's a good thing, considering our supply chain. But we did get word that it is in Detroit and it will be on its way down here on a shipment in the next couple of weeks. And then the security truck that I'm using to go around the community is going to be fixed the beginning of June. So it's going into the shop and so forth. That's already been approved by the board. And also probably two last things. I don't mean to be
It's your
long-winded
time,
here.
buddy.
One is the mule. We did receive the mule on May 4th for maintenance. And signed, sealed, delivered, and everything is good on that. So we're very happy with that. And just a shout out to Steve Kunda for making those arrangements. He saw the opportunity and jumped on it through Iron Pony and said, hey, I think we should get this because we may not get another one for a long time.
They're tough to
So,
find.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
tough to find. So thank you, Steve. And then lastly is tree inspections. I've got a system down now that I'm using to schedule tree inspections. I've done 14 so far since I've been here. And I've got a couple more scheduled for the next couple of days. But I wanted an opportunity to schedule it with a member and give them a little bit of an education on why we're taking the trees down and why they want the tree down, whether it's diseased or whether it's, it's dead or it's in the way of a structure or something like that. So it's been great. I've had many opportunities to talk to members just about our forest and Hideaway Hills here. So more information to that to come, but just wanted to say it's been a pleasure working with members on this. And that's all I have. Oh, yes. So I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Want to make a motion to the board to approve 2 easement waivers. And these 2 easement waivers are Ralph Charles, lot 883 and 884, located in section 31 of Hideaway Hills. It's an SPC or South Central Power Utility easement, and it's all in order. I have the paperwork and all other associated paperwork as well is in order. And then, go ahead.
Why don't we make a motion?
Okay.
Or-
Can he make a
No.
motion?
No.
So you'll just ask for the motion.
So you're asking for us to make a motion to approve the Charles
Yes.
easement vacancy,
Ralph Charles.
vacating the easement.
I'd like to make that motion.
Linda Lonzinger has made the motion to vacate the easements associated with the Ralph
Ralph
Charles
Charles.
property. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Annie Kerrigan. Do we have any discussion?
Is this between 2 lots or what's the reason for the easement?
Good point.
It's a South Central Power. It's between 2 lots, so 883 and 884. And the home that he's putting up, it's on a different lot is being demolition, and this is a new build.
Okay, so is he building across the easement? Is that why he needs the easement?
Okay, any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then the second one is Dave Petty, lots 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020 in section 71 of the Hideaway Hills map. This is an SPC utility easement as well. And all is in order as far as the paperwork is associated with.
What's the rationale for the request?
Is a new build. And we'll talk about the variance as well, request, where he's building his lots on, I believe it's 2016. And then because of his well and septic as well. It's a very steep slope. And so the rationale behind it is to make sure that he can build on that easement with this house.
And I might add too, that I think it's only 2018, 17, and 16.
I
It's
think
not
you're right.
19 and 20.
I looked at the paperwork, I think.
Yeah,
So it's actually just 16, 17, 18.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so why is this in our packet then for later discussion? Or is this part of this
Variance.
discussion?
That's very.
Variance.
It's
It's a
different.
separate issue.
And I've lost track. Okay, well, you're asking for not a variant, for an easement
Yes.
variance.
A waiver.
No,
Easement waiver.
Easement waiver.
Yes.
And then this is going to be a variance discussion later.
For the same group of lots.
Yes.
Okay, so where were we? Do I have a motion to,
Accept the waiver from South Central for easement between lots.
2016, 2017, and 2018.
South Central Power's done their thing, so we
Yeah.
just need to accept
So-
the release of the,
Can I just ask what lots are being built across?
2016 and 2017. And if I could get a verification from Chris
Okay.
on that.
Septic field spans all three lots. And so crosses the two easements. And this house is going to be adjusted via the variance that he's also applying for. So right now, it's, I believe the house is just spanning one of.
I know the lots. I'm trying to figure out
one
why,
of the-
because of the size of the house
There's three lots and there's
or the nature of the
two
septic.
central- two interior property lines. But his septic field does span all three lots, according to the section. Crossing the two easements. And his house proposed house will cross one, and he hopes to move it into the front yard setback.
so I have a question. Are we trying to waive both easements or is it just one easement?
Both easements
Okay, and South Central Power has signed off one,
on both.
waiving both easements. Okay,
I guess the only thing that I'm not arguing, I can't remember anybody asking for 2 lot easements to be vacated in the past before for construction purposes. So is that because of the need for a extended leach field?
Yes.
Or is it because of the terrain or both or what? I'm just,
It's
and I know those lots, so I'm kind of familiar with them from days gone by. So I was just kind of wondering. They can't, the health department's making them put in a larger or more expansive leach field?
the leach field drawing goes into the three lots as it's currently proposed.
That's just interesting. I've not heard them do that before. Yeah, no, I'm just, yeah, in light of other things that I've heard about, but anyway, I won't bore you with that, but I'm just surprised by the need for that, that's all. So,
okay.
Did we get a motion? Did you-
I don't know, we got that far. We're still discussing. That's okay. That's fine. We'll do this,
I
right?
think we probably need a motion and then we have further discussion.
South Central Power has waived their rights to both easements.
So really, the board needs to just approve the waiver of the easements. The club needs to.
and the construction permit has been approved.
No.
For the home
because
itself.
He's also requesting a variance. So the building permit will not be approved until the variance is approved. Or if the variance is not approved, then he has to get a smaller house, I guess, build a smaller house.
So it is because of the size of the house and the length, if you will, of the leach field.
Right,
Can we
Okay.
make the
because he
motion?
needs to be a certain
Presupposing
number
the
of feet.
variance goes
The
through.
house needs to be a specified
Well, we
number of
can
feet
make a
away from the
motion.
leach field.
And the waiver. is not-
And in his
The
drawing,
variance is separate.
the
whether or
current
not.
proposed house is right next to it.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay, so, any other discussion? Okay, so I need an official motion to, for the club to vacate the easements associated with lots 2018, 2017, and 2016.
I would like to make that motion, please.
Motion made by Linda Lonzinger. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Cabot Ray. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So,
Okay, thank you, Andy. Committee business and reports, which normally kind of dovetails into fund requests, right? Or at least it does every other month. We normally do this by going around the room, and we'll start with Eric.
I just got this really just a few minutes ago, but so I'm just gonna read it and then ask for the airport committee would like to have a hot air balloon come to Hideaway Hills Airport to do tethered rides. 2 to 3 hours in an evening. They do not have a date yet, but they would like to get it approved to have one prior to setting a date. The cost is $2,000 to $2,500. The airport is willing to pay $1,000 towards it, and we're hoping to get the donations from the rest. We would also like to make a fundraiser and charge a small amount per person. So it looks like they're just trying to get their ducks in a row and would like permission from the board to be able to do the tethered hot air balloon rides at the airport with a date to be chosen later. So I'd like to make a motion to allow the airport committee to have tethered balloon rides at a later date.
Okay,
And to do fundraising as part of it, or do you want that in the motion?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
okay. So motion made by Eric to have tethered hot air balloon event date forthcoming at the airstrip, and it would be combined with fundraising efforts, correct?
And the fundraising's to pay for the difference, right, Eric? The kind of-
You guys heard the same thing.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, so do I have a second? Or do we have any further discussion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mary Beth Fisher. Any more conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the only other thing I have, I got this today as well and just got around to getting to it. Long range planning is she's trying to get her ducks in a row. Asked me to make a few motions. First was to cancel automatic monthly meetings, and I don't know that we need to make a motion to cancel meetings for a particular committee. So
I don't think that's,
if you
yeah.
agree with that, then I'll just move on.
No, they should just make sure they update the website because I think it says,
I would agree
yeah,
that they should make notice so people can attend and so forth.
Yeah.
I'll mention that to her. And approve, it's really the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. And then she does have a vision statement. Unfortunately, I just sent this out to everybody before the meeting. But the vision statement for the Long Range Planning Committee would be to recommend and monitor strategic initiatives for the HH Club to maintain enrichment and well-being, security, safety, inclusion, diversity, equity, access, and environmental stewardship. And I'd like to make a motion to accept that vision statement for the Long Range Planning Committee.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made to accept the vision statement by the new Long Range Planning Committee Chair, seconded by Cabot Ray. Do we have any discussion?
is there an existing vision statement?
No.
Because I was looking, I can't even find the old 5-year plan, and on the website, it just basically says what the committee's purpose is as an advisory committee, charged to review all operations of Hideaway Hills Club and how these operations need to be adjusted to meet changing requirements for the future. Are they? I don't know, I guess I'm curious if there was a previous vision statement and how this is different.
I don't recall ever seeing one, to be
Yeah, I
honest
don't
with you.
either, but I was trying to find the old 5-year plan because I thought maybe it was in there or something, but I couldn't find it.
That's a
So
logical place. Yeah.
that being said, I mean, if there isn't one, are we okay with approving her vision statement?
No reason why not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
I
curious
appreciate her
if it
putting
was-
it together.
If there
sounded
was
good.
one and if there was a difference, that's all.
Yeah.
Sounded
Gotcha.
good. This is the updated vision statement.
So Eric made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll
You already
second
have
that.
one. I thought.
I thought I seconded it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
Kevin.
already-
Okay, Cabot seconded it. Okay, did we vote on that?
No.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the only thing additional from long range planning is that they are currently seeking new members. And if anybody is interested in joining, please contact Janine Markham, or you can also contact me. My email's in the board packet and I will forward you off to Janine. So that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Eric. One thing I would mention that is, we now have a resident expert as far as environmental stuff is concerned and trees are concerned and things like that. And that's one thing I think we have sadly lacked in the past. So, I mean, it's here and we need to embrace it. So, Linda,
Hi, I have nothing.
that was short and sweet.
I have a lot of other things, but.
Okay. I've got tennis. The rotted backboard was repaired and partially painted on Saturday, and 8 to 10 people are signed up to play pickleball today, I guess. So we were up and running. Dave Rowe put a call into Heiberger Paving to get a firm date for painting the courts, and will advise and give notice to HAH of the closed dates. He is also seeking reimbursement in the amount of $338.39 for the supplies associated with replacing the bank board and painting it. So I need
Okay,
a,
I'll move that we approve 338.39 for tennis course maintenance painting.
okay, a motion made by Linda Hodge. Do I have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Linda Lonzinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Health and wellness. Our friend Julie reports that the Panacea Fitness Center at Hideaway Hills opened on April the 30th to an overwhelming response from the community. Within a week, they were out of fobs. We have 150 fobs ordered, anticipated delivery the first week of June. We ask for patience for members waiting on fobs. On average, the fitness center receives approximately 15 to 20 people utilizing it per day. The hours are from 4 a.m. to midnight. A fob is required to enter the building. There is a fee of $10 per key fob. Currently, we are only issuing 1 key fob per household. Every person over 18 must sign a waiver. Waivers are available on the desk at the fitness center. There is a box on the side of the desk to place the waivers in. Guest waivers are also available. They are looking for sponsors to help out with the operating cost as well as new equipment. Sponsorships can be monthly or annually. Upcoming events are the 5K walk / run, which is Saturday, May 28th, starting at the Scheller House at 9 a.m. And bricks will be in the 3rd week of June. We will have a recognition for those who have donated a brick, date to be determined. And that's it for my 2 committees.
Chaz, could
Yep.
so sitting here thinking back to, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to squash a really good idea, but the balloon, the tethered balloon, in terms of risk, whoever has that balloon needs to be carrying insurance so that we have coverage for our members. So I think we need to make certain that they have coverage, that there is probably a waiver
That needs
for
to be
people
signed.
who are
Yeah.
participating in the tethered balloon ride. And I don't know what tethered means. Do you know, Eric? Is it 50 feet, 100 feet, 10 feet?
I think really Eric just wanted to know if conceptually we were okay with with the idea. And I think that, yeah, we'll get some, I think Andy can help us work with them to
Yeah.
make sure that we're
Check the vendor.
properly buttoned up as far as our
Those are
liability is
The
concerned.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but point well taken. Okay,
Okay.
Mary Beth?
Thank you. Utility Services, Eric Boysko sent a public service announcement, essentially. South Central Power Company continues to work on the Hideaway Hills underground electric project that kicked off in June 2018. This project is designed to improve electric reliability, reduce the number of outages and time members are affected by outages, and install underground lines in the most critical areas. Currently, the conduit work is 99% complete. The electrical work is approximately 90% pulled in through the conduit. Weather permitting, transfers from the old overhead to the newly completed underground will begin occurring late May through June. Approximately 60% of the HAH members directly affected by the project have committed to converting their service to underground. Weather permitting, these service conversions should take place from July through the end of 2022. If you have questions, contact South Central Power Engineering Department, 800-282-5064, or you can write to them at hahproject@southcentralpower.com. If you're directly affected by this project and have yet to speak with South Central Power about burying your lines underground to your home, the Utility Services Committee strongly recommends speaking to them very soon. That phone number and the email address will also be in the minutes, so you can get that from the minutes as well if you missed it just now. As a subcommittee to the utility services is road safety. And Nancy McCoy asked me to share that after 5 hours and 2 cases of paint, the roads have been relined for the season. They're going to be ordering more mirrors as requests are still coming in to help on some blind curves. Once those arrive, maintenance will install them. As a reminder, the only way they can proceed is through generous donations from members. Each mirror is approximately $250. And we will reline the roads in the fall or as needed. And then later in the day, she wrote, "I'll also include a shout out to our spotters, Les McCoy and Dave Mockinstern. They were great." So.
Never forget to thank the health. Okay. Linda Hodge.
Just one thing from communications. I told you last time, Ginger and our designer will no longer do the Spiral Bound member directory, and asked last month if anybody wants to volunteer or volunteers to take over that project. Ginger estimates it's about 100 to 150 hours of work, which involves setting it up, getting advertisers, making sure the data are correct. And so far, no one has approached either Ginger or me about wanting to take over that project. So that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda. Cabot.
Yeah, I got a few things here this week, this month. Chapel, very successful Mother Day weekend. The flower sale completely sold out, thanks to our generous community for the support there. The Memorial Day sunset service will be held at the chapel at 7:30. That's on the 30th. Veterans will be honored as well as members here who have passed. We are still looking for volunteers to serve as a color guard for that event. I know they used one at the airport fly-in last year, but I think at this point that has not been nailed down. The chapel cleanup day is this Thursday at 10 a.m. with a rain date of the next day, Friday, 10 a.m. if it's raining. And again, anybody who wants to roll up their sleeves and join us, spreading mulch and weed whacking and so forth, feel free to join us Thursday at 10. Also, if anyone can assist in cleaning off benches and altar areas this summer, there are several dates, July 24, 31, August 14, 21, and 28. We could really use your assistance because a lot of leaves and things fall during the week to clean off those benches. Volunteers with Adopt an Area Committee can be seen out. You've probably already seen them planting, weeding, mulching, and they hope to hold a volunteer help day to repaint the fence at the main gate in the near future. Also, Sue Battercher has stepped back as Adopt an Area Chair, but Gail Donahue has agreed to step up in that leadership role. So with that in mind, I want to make a motion here tonight that Gail Donahue be approved by the board as the new leader of Adopt an Area Committee. Can I make that motion now, please?
You can, and I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Cabot to accept the new Adopt an Area chair, seconded by Linda Hodge. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Pool Committee, proud to announce the long-awaited area behind the diving board is now open for the summer. There is a new gate from the pool and 2 picnic tables that are also set up out there that smokers may use. The front area and non-smokers. The front area has a new charcoal grill next to the pergola dedicated to member Tim Motter, who passed away December 2020. A dedication plaque will also be placed there in Tim's memory. That grill can be used whether or not the pool is open. A number of members have donated money to the pool for use in honoring past members with the pool committee. Now, I've been asked tonight to make a motion for up to $1,000 along those same lines from pool and pool memorial funds for a memorial bench for Cheryl Carr, who was a longtime supporter in many ways of the community, but certainly at the pool. Also, there will be towel hooks there over the bench and a new box for water weight storage, up to $1,000. I'd like to make a motion that we approve that from the pool and pool memorial funds for that purpose.
Okay, so I've got a motion made by Cabot to spend up to $1,000 for memorial bench in honor of Cheryl
Carr.
Carr, who was a longtime supporter of the pool. Any
I can-
discussion?
No, you need a second.
Okay,
I'll second.
seconded by Annie. Discussion?
I think it's a
I'll-
great idea.
I do too. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And that's it for me.
That's it for Cabot. Annie
All
Carey.
right, social committee, and the social committee is gearing up for the first concert of the season, Saturday, May 28th from 8 to 11. Katie and the Red Hots are sponsored by Iron Pony, Chris and Tammy Jones. Thank you, Iron Pony, for your sponsorship. Deck tour is Saturday, June 11th from 1 to 4. Thank you to the homeowners for being on the tour. We have 5 great homes and owners will be revealed closer to the event. Thursday, June 16th is Ladies Night at 261 Shawnee with a guest speaker of Michelle Mays. Thank you to those members who purchased tables for the 3 concerts. There's still time to reserve your tables and chairs and for front row seating. You can place an order until Friday, May 20th. Contact Gordon Vink at 614-746-6513 or Dee Dee Parker at 614-477-6206. And then lastly, I'd like to make a motion to approve paying $1,400 to Katie and the Red Hots, $90 in lodge gift cards for meals for the band, and up to $350 for tables and chairs from the social committee's funds.
I will
Okay.
second that.
So we got a motion made by Annie to spend up to $1,400 to pay the band Katie and the Red Hots. $90 in gift cards for said band. And $350 associated with tables and chairs.
Yeah, up to 300.
Okay, and seconded by Linda Hodge. Any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, organic garden. About half of the beds are planted and vegetables are sprouting. All beds are full. 1 person is on the waiting list. The July 16th Garden Arts Fest has 21 vendors committed and planning is underway. Vendors who want to sign up should contact Jan Patassin. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Annie. Doug Parker.
Okay. I sent out the notes on this. I have a couple of corrections or updates on there, but nothing major there to add. But in any case, those were emailed to you earlier today. Sorry, I couldn't get them earlier. I was waiting for some updates. But anyway, Lakes Committee. I have 2 funds requests here, actually 3. I'm sorry, I have 3 now. We need to approve $600 for funding, basically funding of the tadpole fishing contest, prizes, et cetera, et cetera. And then $350 for prizes and other essentials for the kayak race, which has already been approved for August the 13th. And by the way, the tadpole contest is coming up on June 11th. These dates have been approved, by the way, previously. And also $100 for trophies for the boat parade on the 4th of July on Lake of the Four Seasons. And that's also been approved. The date's also been approved. So I would make a motion to approve the $600 for tadpoles and $350 for the kayak race and $100 for the boat parade if I can put all those three together. Just monies. Dates are
Okay.
approved.
Well, I'm not gonna read that again. Doug
All right.
did a great job of reading it. Got a motion on the table to approve multiple events
Yeah.
on behalf of Lakes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Cabot Ray. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And a note on the kayak race, which again is scheduled for and has already been approved for August the 13th. That will start at 10 a.m. We've gone back and forth a little bit on the route for that. We're gonna make sure we stay out of everybody else's way out on the lake. We're gonna start that at the beach. The kayak race will start at the beach. We'll go around up to the no wake buoys at the top of the main dam, of course, and then back to the beach area buoys for the race. So no issues should remain for affecting the main docks and access to the main docks, and no need for any no wake time period on the lake that day. So.
I might add also, Doug, that there was a date conflict between the kayak race and one of the events at the tennis courts. And both committee chairs got together and yielded to each other, worked it out, and everything's great. So,
Right on.
yeah.
That's cool. Very good. Okay. That's why I've been telling people and I'm watching things pop up. Still, even though I keep saying to people, at least on the people that I can have a little bit of control over, and say to them, submit your requests for dates.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't used to do that. And I go, well, we're trying to change that so we don't have these conflicts. So that's just a little sidebar PSA there. As far as other Lakes Committee stuff, the Hideaway Hills Beach has been re-sanded. I believe there were 40 tons of sand put on it. The sand itself was purchased or donated, I should say, by HA member Todd Ritz. Delivery and installation was completed May 11th, but we had to pay, or the Lakes Committee had to pay $1,250, and that was previously approved by an e-vote. So we paid for the slinging of the sand, in other words, but the sand was provided by a member. We are
Looks
getting that
great.
into the budget for next time around, which should be the year after next, probably. That's a guess, but that's the way the schedule normally has been running. Also improvements down on the Beach Cove. Beach docks bumpers are ordered. Well, they are not only ordered, they're installed for the docks down by the beach. And incidentally, those are not to be used for overnights, just in case. We have a lot of new members. We probably better make sure people understand.
Read the rules and understand the
Yeah,
rule, yep.
exactly. Yeah. Geese, if you'd like to get goose, here's some goose information. A couple of Mylar goose deterrent ribbons went down on the beach, as you may have seen them. Those have now been replaced. That's the good news and the bad news and the good news. The rest of the good news is there was no goose poop on the beach as of the report last week. So that's working. I believe those fences need to be at least a minimum of 24 inches high. You can go as high as 36. A lot of people will recommend 36 inches. The geese won't go through them, in other words. But 36 inches, I think, could be a little bit problematic. So I think we're probably at 24 inches. But some people have talked about, maybe making a more permanent fence down there. We're looking at options for that. Basically, Tiffany Wright and Kathy Blankenship of the Lakes Committee are considering ideas for a more permanent type of goose fencing. This will be done in consultation with the Lakes Committee, management, that's the committee, and the general manager, and maintenance. So nobody's going to go off on their own and put up posts and stuff. But what we found is that it works. The fencing works, and you've got to have the right approach to it. But the bottom line is they'll land only in the water. They don't land on the land, but they won't go onto the land from the water if there's a fence there. I guess maybe that makes the most sense. Sue, is that, you there? That's right, isn't it? Got it. All right. Correct me anytime you need to. All right, all right. So that's that. Oh, also FYI, we had asked for a date for a dock tour. And it's kind of like the deck tour, but a little wetter. The dock tour date was going to be for July 23rd, but we will not be doing that. We being the Lakes Committee, we will not be doing that event this summer. No event money was approved, so there's no issue there, only the date. So there's a date that's open if somebody needs one.
There you go.
23rd.
Yeah.
All right. July. This is something, this is just an update and just kind of maybe a little bit of a reminder, well, more of a reminder for some of us, but for some of us, because we have a lot of new people continuing all the time around here, including a new general manager. We have a Lakes Enhancement Subcommittee. Is it a subcommittee or is it ad hoc? Subcommittee. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. Lakes enhancements, and basically that's kind of a, I don't know, maybe a sort of internal long-range planning kind of thing between the Lakes Committee, essentially mostly between the Lakes Committee maintenance and Lakes Committee maintenance and management. Okay, so in other words, all of those groups have to meet together, and so this is kind of the get you plugged into this too, Andy. With Andy now in place as our new general manager, Lakes and management committees are looking to essentially restart Lakes Enhancements Committee discussions and a 10-year plan regarding new silt traps off Taos Lane, as well as other areas around Lake of the Four Seasons. We have various and sundry ravine entry points for water into the lake, in other words, and that's where we're looking to put in new silt traps, right? Okay, that's the easiest way I think to explain it. I'll promise not to try to get technical on this stuff, because obviously it's over my head for the most part. These discussions and formal meetings will also need to include maintenance as well as of course. As previously noted for the club records, Lakes has spent $11,000 of its amenities fund money for outside professional consultation and information on how to best build the first of what are likely to be continued silt damming projects around the lake, especially up towards the north end. We are still waiting for requested revisions to the first plan from the engineer, but hope to have them soon, right? Soon. All right. Well, we've paid for stuff. The point is here, just so you understand, we've paid for stuff. It's a viable project. It's been discussed, and we need to kind of nudge people a little bit. So this is a nudge session here, if you'll bear with me. We also need an estimate for continuing costs from a local excavator who has previously cleaned our north end silt traps. That's up on the North Park. That local excavator has a larger machine than the club owns. We have a new excavator, but this one's bigger, has called it for in the engineer's plans. That's 2LMN, right? Yeah.
Not the
2LMN.
excavator, that's down, right?
Well, the engineer is from 2LMN,
Right.
and I'm referring to that.
Yep.
Excavator is Mr. Excavator.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. There is also new discussion about road building concerns into the new silt trap area up on the north end. That's the one by Blankenship's house, for those of you who know that, where that is. An exact positioning of the new trap and exactly where we're going to put it. Maintenance has had some input on this. Of course, the engineer has had some input on this, but also the Lakes Committee has had input on this. Not Doug, those people who are directly involved in it. All right. The Lakes Committee is also concerned about previous cleaning of the traps at the North Park area, where smaller silt traps and dredging simply haven't been able to deal with the flow of water we've been receiving in recent years. It's just been pretty overwhelming. So that's the nudge. Anybody have any questions on that? We hope to have more information for you coming up soon, but we need to get folks together, Andy, and obviously you're welcome to lead as much of the charge as you want to in that. But it's an important project and it's not anything new. It's been in the works for over a year at this point, for sure. Any other questions on that?
One question
Yes.
here. We have kicked around endlessly the thought of creating our own dredging equipment.
Yep.
Is any of that being incorporated into any of these
Not to this point.
conversations?
It's part of the whole subcommittee.
Okay. Okay, I just don't want to lose sight of that. I mean, obviously, there needs to be an ongoing dredging process to back up the silt traps and the silt ponds and things like that. And we lost sight of that when we redid the dam, Andy, for your clarification. And we really need to get refocused on that and see what we can get done on that front.
That's why the Lakes Enhancement Subcommittee was created essentially. That's
Yeah.
why it's there. Okay. So that's that. Anybody else? Anyone? You probably don't want to hear any more about silt traps. All right. Food Services Committee. We need some funds approval here. And we also have a couple of other notes. I'll start with the notes first. And well, these are going to be board approval things too. We now have 3 designers on the committee for food services. We don't have any more food fund and fellowship, but we got food services experts. But we also have designers there. So they have ideas. And one of their ideas, as I've mentioned before, is they would like to get around to doing some trim painting inside the lodge. The committee would like to paint the trim around the lodge doors and windows a gray color picked out by the team. Cost to be determined from committee funds. We now have 3 designers, as I've already mentioned. We have 3 designers on our committee. So I would like to get, without a firm price, it's going to be a few cans of paint, basically, is what this is going to cost. The committee will do the work themselves. But in any case, I'd like to get approval for that.
So you
That's
want
it.
to do that in the form of an up to, not to exceed, what?
I'd say not to exceed $200 if we need to do that at this point. I'm more
That's-
concerned about the conceptual acceptance of it. I've mentioned it a few times just so we prepare people.
Are
Because
you
we're-
making a motion?
I am making the motion. Is somebody going to second it?
So a motion to spend up to $200 on trim paint for the 3 designers that are now part of the Food Services Committee,
Right,
which we really worked hard to find. And
that's correct.
and
We searched
now they're
high
going to
and
do
low,
something
yes.
and
Yeah.
we're going to approve it.
I
You
will
good with
second
it?
that.
Andy, you
Okay.
okay with that? I know you're a little late to this little party, but we've been doing, the lights in the lodge, by the way, are new. The lighting fixtures.
And they
those
look
are very
great.
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first foray for these folks. And now this is the second one. And we're trying to keep them,
So we got
So, yeah.
seconded by Linda
Yeah.
Hodge for that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
This is approval for a fundraiser rather than a funding. As a fundraiser, the Food Services Committee would like to raffle off a pizza oven donated by Paula Scarcella, similar to the Lakes Committee raffle for the kayak that we did approve recently. That's the other thing I've at least tried to get people to do, is to get raffles approved. Because technically we should do that, but we don't always do that, or we haven't been doing it. So again, I think the value of the oven is something in the vicinity of $350, but it's a raffle.
So are
And
you
it's
looking for
donated.
us to approve a date?
No,
or
just a raffle.
Conceptually.
Just
that
a
they
raffle
can
for
have
the
a
food
raffle?
service.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser for the Food Services Committee.
So that's a motion.
Yes,
I'll second it.
is that?
A motion made to establish a
Yeah, long
fundraiser
day.
of a
My
pizza oven that's
sinuses are
being
like-
donated
Yeah,
by Doug Parker,
Fine.
seconded by Mary Beth Fisher. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
thank you. And I do apologize. my sinuses are just coming back from a visit to hell. So, and I'm
Thanks for
still
letting us in.
not all there yet. Anyway, these are for money now. board approval for $500 for a comedy night, date to be determined. But $500 to find someone to do comedy night at the lodge.
Okay, so we got a motion to approve $500 for a comedy night at the lodge with date to be
To be
determined.
And
determined.
this is for the comedians or comedian, right? To pay those people.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna try to avoid some of the problems we had at the last comedy night. I promise.
Cabot, are you
It
going
was
to
a great
apply?
night.
No.
I'll second your.
All right.
Missed that.
Motion
Yeah.
seconded by Mary Beth Fisher. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Also, a nice little update. You might have noticed some outdoor lights out front of the lodge. They would like to, the committee that is, would like to put some lights like that on the deck, the rear deck area for dining, similar to what's in front of the lodge, not to exceed $150.
I will second that.
All right, so we got a motion made by Doug to approve deck lights to match the deck lights that were recently placed out front of the lodge, not to exceed how much?
$150.
$150, seconded by Linda Hodge. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
One more money thing, as noted as an FYI at last month's board meeting, the Food Services Committee would like to purchase a 60-inch commercial grade gas grill for use at the amphitheater and other club events at a cost not to exceed $2,600, including taxes.
So motion made by Doug to purchase a 60-inch commercial grade gas grill for the amphitheater, not to exceed $2,600. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Cabot Ray. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Who would use the grill? Is this something,
The food services staff.
okay, so they
Oh,
would
yeah.
be providing brats, hot dogs.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially when you have things like concerts and stuff. That was
Right.
the first idea. And then I said, well, that's nice, but we only do a handful of concerts a year. And they said, well, we can use it for other places. And I said, okay, well, that's good, including in like the clubhouse too, as far as I'm
Some
concerned.
event at the barn or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, it could be moved around. That was the point. But it was initially for, you know, and special events here at the lodge, like we had a graduation party here downstairs a couple of weeks ago, you know, for that kind of event too, where you're serving, or a lot of people here. So it would have been kind of handy for something like that. So it's for bigger groups, to serve bigger groups, weddings, all of that kind of stuff. Lastly, thank you for bearing with me, and we need board
Wait a minute,
approval.
I don't think we voted.
Oh,
on
I'm
that.
sorry, I'm sorry. See,
We
I'm
had a
I'm
first
trying
and
to-
a second.
I asked a question.
Linda asked a
fault.
question. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Fine.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We also have a request for, Bob Sorrell would like to host a veterans breakfast on the Saturday before Memorial Day from 9 to 11 a.m. at the clubhouse. He did this last year, all costs to be borne by the host. Staffing has already been cleared for the event.
So is it really the Food Services Committee is it through the? food service?
Requesting the date for the clubhouse.
And what is that date?
The date, I don't have the exact date. It's Saturday before Memorial Day,
28th.
whatever that is. I don't know.
Saturday,
Sorry.
so 28th. Is it Saturday of Memorial? or the
It
week
says the
before?
Saturday before Memorial Day. That would be Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is Memorial Day.
Yep.
So
That's the way I read it.
It's the 28th.
it's
28.
5/28,
28th.
22.
I'll second it.
Well, we gotta wait for
Linda.
Lonzinger. She's
Yeah, the
out
club,
there hacking
I
up
understand the
the
clubhouse staff is plugged into this and everything.
You
So
know what
we're
time? Is
should
it
be
like
good.
at 9 to
9 to 11 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who was the second?
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth, okay. Should I check on? it? Okay, I'm just gonna make it.
Sorry about that.
All right, so we have a motion made that was seconded by Doug and seconded by Cabot. Okay, to let Bob Sorrell host a veterans breakfast at the clubhouse on Saturday, 5/28/22 from 9 to 11. All costs will be absorbed by Bob. Do we have any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, is that it?
Oh, the only thing left is golf committee, and I just asked Cabot, does anybody have a report from Tim?
He asked me to do a proxy vote for him if we come to that, but I did not get anything from Tim.
Can't vote on something, I guess, we don't have, right? Okay, any other fund requests? Outstanding. Open forum.
We have one person who would like to speak, and that is Chris Milburn.
Chris?
At this time, I would like to reserve my comments if possible. So after the board discusses in the new business,
The lot joinder,
the lot joiner. And I can make
can
my
you talk
comments
at that time? 'Cause
Sure.
It's his lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
No problem.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Unfinished business, Linda Hodge.
Okay, we're getting ready for the annual meeting and election. Looks like we will have one issue on the ballot, which we've read a couple times. I will read it again today. It's also appeared in the Echo twice, and that's the anti-discrimination language. Current language is, it shall be the policy of this club. There shall be no discrimination in employment, membership, activity, participation, or guest privileges on the basis of race, religion, national origin, sex, or age. The proposed language is, it shall be the policy of this club that there shall be no discrimination in employment, membership, volunteer participation, governance, activity participation, guest privileges, or any ancillary matter relative to the proceeding based on race, religion, national origin, veteran status, disability, sex, including sexual orientation, or age. So I move that we include the proposed language on the August ballot.
Second.
Okay. Motion made to approve the ballot issue dealing with anti-discrimination language made by Linda Hodge, seconded by Doug Parker. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Oh, yeah, I'm just making sure we're, is that it?
Yep,
Okay.
well, that's it for that part, yeah.
Okay, proposed building code revisions, which were revised and amended
Right.
Prior to the meeting, Linda Lonzinger.
Thank you. At the end of your packet, you'll find two different revisions, both at the very top, you'll see highlighted. So the first one that I'd like to bring to your attention is the proposed building code revisions pertaining to demolition fees and fines. This set of revisions have appeared in two echoes, and they are ready to come before you for a vote to be included into the building code. So I would like to make a motion that the proposed changes be included in the building code for demolition, fees, and fines.
Okay, and these have been out there now for a couple months, so we're all familiar with them. They've run its course. They've run,
And we
it's
haven't
run
received-
its course. We'll
Right.
deal with the second one separately, right?
Right.
And it's time for us to to vote on approving it, right?
Right, and just to add, there have been no comments or any information received from members.
Okay. So that being said, was that a motion?
That was a motion to
Okay.
approve the revisions to demolition fees and fines.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Linda Hodge. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second set of revisions, this is for publication. You'll see this and it's proposed building code revision pertaining to 6-month permits and fines. So this is coming before you for the first time tonight. And if you approve, this will be placed in the Echo for 2 meetings. And then we'll come back and have a final vote on it. So this vote, I would like to make a motion that this language for pertaining to 6-month permits and fines be included in the Echo for 2 cycles. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion made by Linda to accept or to move forward with posting in the Echo for the 2-month cycle. The verbiage that's associated with the building
Building code
permits and fines
Yes.
as communicated in tonight's attachment. Do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Doug Parker. Any further conversation? And again, this is just to post it in the Echo for the 2-month cycle.
That's correct.
So exterior remodel. What does that mean?
Chris, I'd like to refer to you with questions, please.
In the building code as it exists at present, there's a section called exterior remodeling.
She should probably talk in a microphone.
Yeah, Doug.
Yep.
you-
Here. Why don't I just give you this?
You have to come up here.
In the building code, there's a section right now that's called exterior remodeling. And I don't have the code in front of me, but I believe it says that you change 50% of the exterior of a building. You need a building permit.
Okay.
But there's no reference when it comes to what type of permit to obtain. Exterior remodeling is not listed anywhere. So we added it here as a 6-month permit
Okay, so this is just catching up
with
to
what's
what the
there.
Previous stuff was already there.
Yeah, and we're not changing anything with respect to exterior remodeling. And I believe it says that if you change 50% of a structure, you need a building permit.
Okay.
But we're just putting it in as an option for a building permit.
Okay, and then driveway, I assume that's a new driveway. If somebody wants to fix their driveway, we're not requiring a permit.
If they're changing their driveway, a permit would be required. You widen it or lengthen it or something. And we've been approving permits if you change the material. We're getting permits for concrete driveways. And the goal there in requiring a permit is to have maintenance approve it, because maintenance wants to see where it's joining the road so that water doesn't collect and ice ends up on the high road. And so you'll see concrete driveways that have gravel at the end, and that's to collect the water so that it's less likely to become ice out on the road.
Okay.
To collect and direct the water away. And Rick approves those.
Okay,
So,
very good. I'm just kind of.
Yep, no, go
reading this
ahead.
For the first time, so I'm kind of go through it.
This additional 350 square feet that you're talking about down here, is that in relation to the primary structure? That's not a separate structure or, even potential down near the water, or
now,
what's the 350 again?
there's,
Up to 350 it says.
there's 2 types of permits. If you're putting an addition on a house,
Okay,
and one is for an addition that's greater than 350 square feet.
okay,
So you'd measure the floor space. And if it's greater, you would get a 12-month permit. If it's less
I
than
see.
350 square feet, you'd get a 6-month permit.
But again, it's on the primary residence that we're talking about, right?
Well,
It's the
you could
main-
add it to a garage, I suppose.
Okay.
But yes, generally, I don't know that any has come in that hasn't been added to a house,
Oh, okay.
but you could add to a garage theoretically. And you can
Alright.
only have 2 structures on a lot, so I don't know what else you could add it to. You could enlarge your shed
Yeah.
if that's your goal.
Not mine.
So,
Have to put more tools in there.
yes, I know, yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris, I know that I'm reading here, and I know the point is you want people to complete their projects. That's the point of what I'm about to get into.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, so the fee for a third 3-month extension is 2 times the original permit. Okay, I
Mhm.
get it. You're sticking it to somebody who's not getting it done. But what are we, do we allow for crazy circumstances, horrible storms come, I don't know, come across some of these? There's got to be some reason why there may be a need for some type of an extension where somebody doesn't get started on time or for one thing or another. So I guess I'm trying to see how we would handle that. I don't necessarily disagree that we want to try to make sure people get their stuff done.
Well, our goal is to get stuff done,
Right.
and we get a number of complaints because stuff doesn't get done, and some projects get abandoned. There's one project that's a remodel, we'll just call it a general remodel. It's been going on for 2.5 years, and it needs to be dealt with. And the 6-month permit can be a problem in part because this is a brand new section of the code.
Okay.
If you read the code, there is no 6-month permit, but people have been getting them forever. So we thought it's time to put it in the code. If you look at the code, there's a 12-month permit, there's no 6-month permit. But I think
I'll have to review it because
you've obtained a few 6-month permits.
Yeah,
I think so.
I may have.
Well, whatever. And the problem with the office was there was also no way to extend a 6-month permit. So we've added this using words that's pretty close to the 12-month permit. At the end, you would go to a fine
Okay.
if the work isn't done. We're moving to paying an extension fee instead of a fine. And one, to encourage people to just get the work done and to not have to get into arguments over fines. But if one got to that point, the board has the power to deal with a fine.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
very good.
yeah. But hopefully a 6-month permit wouldn't go on for 2 years. Yeah.
I agree.
And if a project doesn't get started at all, then the permit can just be killed, withdrawn, whatever, if the project had never been started.
Okay.
And that happens on occasion, usually with the smaller permits. Although I suppose there's probably been a house that didn't start within 12 months. And so then they don't get fined because they haven't finished, they just haven't started.
Okay.
And so then the permits have just been withdrawn, killed, whatever.
Thank you.
Any
Chris.
other questions?
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, so where did we leave that?
We have a motion in a second. don't
We did have a motion and a second on that.
We had
Any other further
discussion.
discussion? That was good discussion too, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Back to Linda Hodge.
The variance request? Is that
Yes,
where we
ma'am.
are?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2 things. This is appeared in the April and May issues of the Echo. HAH member Robert Sorrell, lot 2110 Taos, has requested a variance to section 300.01, 300.09, 400.02, 400.04, 400.06, and 600.06 of the Hideaway Hills Building Code. The member wishes to enlarge a non-conforming dock beyond the permitted number and permitted square footage, extend a retaining wall into the lake, and construct a permanent roof that is to extend beyond the edge of the dock. A portion of the non-conforming dock Retaining wall and permanent roof will be required setback and easement. No hardship statement was provided for any of the 6 variances. Drawings and additional information are on file in the office. And as I said, the notice appeared in the April and May issues of the Echo. This is the first of 2 open hearings on this. And we have received 1 member comment or letter that I'll read. This is dated April 8th, 2022. I'm responding to the variance submitted by HAH member Robert Sorrell, lot 2110 Taos Lane. According to his request, he is wanting to enlarge an already non-conforming dock, construct a non-conforming roof over it, and add a retaining wall in the setback easement. Why are we even entertaining allowing this member to further violate our existing building codes? There are a number of reasons this should not be permitted. 1, the current dock sits in the easement and violates the current code, section 300.01 and 300.09. The current dock is already non-conforming to the building code and is larger than permitted, section 400.02. This was obviously an error in the past that was allowed to slip through and should not be compounded by allowing another violation of the building code. Number 3, there's already 1 non-conforming dock, so adding more will continue to violate the building code, section 400.06. Mr. Sorrell is wanting to extend a retaining wall into the lake. There's no reason to allow one homeowner to extend a retaining wall into the Lake of 4 Seasons. To allow this would set a very bad precedent for any future lakefront homeowner and jeopardize our future enjoyment of the lake. There's no reason to construct a roof over a dock. That dock, when the dock does not conform with the current building codes. It will be an additional violation to extend the dock and then compound this by adding a roof over it that extends past the dock. This just adds violation upon violations, section 600.06. When will it end? There is no hardship to allow any of these violations. It's not an issue of being able to receive water or power or anything that would make it difficult to enjoy their waterfront property. You as board members have been elected to uphold our rules and regulations that have been put in place for the protection and enjoyment of all HAH members. Please vote this variance down and send a clear message that we have rules that are meant for the betterment of all of HAH and not for the select few. Thank you, Robbie Snoke, 1266 Zuni Lane. So this is the first open hearing. And there will be a second next month.
Okay.
When will we vote?
Well, and that's what I was just gonna, and I apologize because I'm new to this. After the second
Next
meeting,
month.
Right, next month.
in which we would
Wait a
read
minute.
any further correspondence that we have, and then we will put it to a vote.
So Linda, you said we would vote next month or we would
Yes,
vote in
next.
August?
Next month, at the end of that hearing.
At the end of that hearing, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Back to Linda Loziger. Guess we.
Thank you. I was just looking for Jonathan Croft's email that,
Got it.
I have it too.
yeah, I did not see it in my packet.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, it
Talk
didn't.
about the thing first, talk about the,
Well,
I've got it, yeah, right here.
if you.
Yep, I did. You want me to read it? Okay. This has to do with the variance for the wellhead at 1633 Cardinal Hill.
Yes.
Okay. And we received a letter of communication on May 3rd, 2022 to the board regarding variance for lot 1633 Cardinal Hill Lane, water well located in road ROW. My concern with the variance is that no one has addressed lot 1632 being accessible for the road. For the road expansion and development. Lot 1632 is not an extra lot to my home that is located on lot 1631. Lot 1632 is deeded separately and plans have already been completed for it to be developed at some point in the future. It appears this separate deed is being overlooked and assumed that it will remain as an undeveloped lot and that the dead-end road will not require further expansion. Can the wellhead be recessed down into a precast concrete unit with a manhole cover that would be flush with the road or nearly flush, but still allow for access below grade to service the well? If this is permissible, it might be the easiest solution. If not, what will the permanent well barrier be constructed of in order to be aesthetically pleasing and not remain in its current form? And this is from Jonathan Kraft, no lot number given.
And so
But I
we
assume
received
it's-
Chris, we hate to keep leaning on you, but we received an email late from Chris that she has some input in on this, so I think it's significant, if you would, please.
Yes,
Chris, I'm gonna take the mic.
this member, I believe, lives at 1631. And can you hold that for a second? Sure. I have a plat map that I'm going to pass out. My printer is running out of ink, so you'll have to share.
Yeah, we should be a little more prepared when you come to these meetings.
I'm trying.
Drives me crazy.
Email I sent you that.
Thank you. And I've been kvetching about it. So this member, if you look at the red dot, that's where the well is. Next to the lot, next to the dot is 1632, which is undeveloped at this time. And the owner states in their letter that they plan to develop it in the future. And then lot across from that is 1631, which is, there is a house there, and that's where the Crafts live. And he stated in the letter that no one has addressed lot 1632 being accessible for road expansion and development. You shouldn't have in your packet a summary. And I believe in that summary, I said there was only one house beyond the lots that have the well. We're aware that that lot's there. If a house is put on it, there'll be two lots. And there's nothing that we see that would make lot 1632 inaccessible. And if you look at the plat map, this is Cardinal Hill, but on the plat map, it's called Coeur d'Alene, which is a tribal name from the French. It's actually a Native American tribe name, but it at some point got changed to Cardinal Hill. So
It's easier to
Thanks for
pronounce.
the- thanks for
And
the
Chris,
trivia.
you are on it.
Trivia queen right there.
well, we get a little a little crazy at the ACC. Twana is also a tribal name. We had to look that one up. We couldn't resist that one. Where you see the blue arrow on the plat map, that's a wide area in the road that the developer, plat map maker put in when they laid out that plat map. So there is room. That wide area is not developed. It's just grass. The road pretty much ends right there. But there is property that Hideaway Hills owns that could be developed for a turnaround should there be so much traffic up there that a turnaround would be useful. And there's nothing that would prevent access to lot 1632. And when we were evaluating this request for a variance, Jeff went up there, Rick went up there. John Greer, who is a committee member, is here to answer questions. He's been up many times. And we feel that there's nothing nothing related to this well that would prevent that lot from being developed.
Chris, he also asked about aesthetics of the well.
Yes.
What about that part?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. In the license agreement, the member will be required to have a sturdy barrier. And this is their definition of a sturdy barrier, if you want to pass that around. It's sturdy looking. it could be improved, I suspect. I don't know what to do necessarily. It's not all that different from some of the screens that are around propane tanks.
And again, there is still road access. It looks like that's kind of out in the middle, a little bit of part of the lane of Coeur, whatever it is. But there is still room. Traffic can get through.
The road right of way is 40 feet. And the hard surface is about 20 feet, running generally speaking down the middle of that road right of way. And as you'll see in those photos, it's in the gravel part.
Yeah.
If you look at the photo, it's actually where the road right of way tapers off and starts tapering down. It's on the shoulder of the shoulder. And cars don't drive there.
Okay.
Well, if they haven't been
Not
drinking, they
intentional
don't
or-
drive there. But it's basically a parking area.
Okay.
And,
So that's like a wooden structure
It's like
around the
something where
wellhead.
somebody block a propane tank with something like
Yeah,
that.
Yes.
yeah. We suggested that they install bollards. The club attorney wrote up the license agreement and used the phrase sturdy barrier. And I'm assuming that was their interpretation of sturdy barrier. I would think bollards, which would be less fortress looking, would be a satisfactory sturdy barrier. Part of their concern was the snowplow coming through, which goes a little beyond and then turns and heads back down. So I think maybe they wanted something that the snow would rebound off of, and maybe the snowplow.
So thank you for helping answer the members' questions. So before you have in your packet the summary that the ACC put together, along with their recommendation that comes at the very end. And the title of it is called Variance for 1633 Cardinal Hill Lane. Would you like me to read that for the record, or you all have it in your packet and I'm assuming you've read it, so.
Up to you.
I mean, I don't think we have it right here. We can all read.
And this has been out there already for
Yeah.
2 months, is
Yeah.
that correct? And this
Yeah.
is the only
Yes.
Right.
concern we've had.
Right.
So we at a place now where we're going to make a motion to allow
Approve.
this to go forward.
Right.
Yes, to approve the variance.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Somebody has to make it.
Oh, I thought she was doing that.
Well, I make a motion to approve the variance for 1633 Cardinal Hill.
And Linda's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Do we have any further discussion? And this is open hearing number two.
Yep.
So we will officially vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
And
carried.
there is the license agreement.
Yes, there is a license agreement, which is
Is it-
really a part of, an integral part of the variance.
Are you doing that as a separate motion?
I don't think we need to. It's
Okay.
been included as part of the
It's
packet.
been approved
Yeah.
and so we'll go through the process of
Yes,
executing.
signing
it,
it,
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
thank you once again, Chris.
Don't go far, Chris. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right. What is
Update shooting
next?
range.
Update for the shooting range. Okay, it's been a long month as it relates to the shooting range. There are a couple things that I want to give and provide a recap on, and also provide an update on what all has transpired. It won't include every minute detail that's happened throughout the month, but it's a high-level overview of where we're at. At the last board meeting, the board voted to shut down the range. That vote was predicated on the fact that we were having problems on multiple fronts. And we felt it necessary to shut it down so that we could try to address each one of those problems or issues or concerns in and of itself. What we didn't discuss at the board meeting was, although we had shut down the range, was how to shut down the range. What did that mean? To some of us, it meant we would lock it down just like we would the lodge or the pool or anything else that we've shut down. The fact is, we don't make it a habit of shutting down our amenities, so we're not good at this. It's that simple. That led to how are we going to shut it down? What are we going to shut down? And there was a lot of confusion over the course of an entire weekend. Andy was involved, our guards were involved, Mary Beth was involved. I spent the entire weekend running back and forth to the range, trying to make sure that we were secured. By the close of the weekend, after we had voted on everything, everything was officially secured, that being the gate, the shooting building, and the container that sits on the property. The range and the amenity therefore being now secured led to my being invited to attend the range committee meeting, which I did. And I would tell you that I was very well received. Everybody told me that they understood why we were where we were. Didn't mean everybody liked it, but they understood, and I got the general sense that they were willing to work with us in order to try to eliminate the problems and get the amenity opened up as quickly as possible. I made a commitment to them to get it opened up as quickly as possible, and I stand behind that commitment. We have a lot of things have transpired since then, not the least of which was that Andy and our security team made a trip through and opened up the buildings and looked inside. We found some things that were what we consider to be safety violations. And we are going to include those in our final game plan to remediate the situation and get the range open back up. Some of those items that we found were alarming. Some of them were what I would consider to be minor, but all of them fixable. I then at the range meeting addressed the committee and made the statement that it appears to me that for the most part that our events are run in a safe manner and that we do a good job keeping safety out in the forefront. What I think we're dealing with for the most part are personality conflicts and people that can't, as adults, get along together for the accomplishment of one common goal. And that's having a nice amenity and being able to use the range. I was asked a question while I was there that I was not prepared to answer, and have taken quite some time to make sure that I got the proper answer to that question. We did a lot of research back up through board meeting minutes and executive conversations and things of that nature. And we are prepared to answer that question as part of when we reconvene and come to terms on what all needs to happen to get the amenity open back up. I will say that throughout this entire process, the range committee and I don't care who it is, everyone on the range committee has been more than willing to answer any question that the board had. I went equipped to the meeting with a set of questions that I considered to be low-hanging fruit for the committee to go ahead and get started with while we were continuing to develop the list of things that we ultimately think need to be accomplished. Within 2 or 3 days, I would say that the range committee was back to me with answers to all of our questions. And these questions were things like, we didn't even know how many people were on the committee, what their certifications were, how many in number each particular range officer of range title there was. just things that were going to allow the board to get more familiar with what we were doing at the range committee, or at the range. Um, we got that information turned around. Steve Cundiff and Jim Hiles were more than happy to rally around and get that information. But the thing that I noticed most was this information was readily available. Okay. So it wasn't like they had to go on a big fact finding mission to get it. They had it and we asked for it and they gave it to us, and they gave it to us in pretty quick order. I sent the answers to those questions to the board so that they could include it in part of their decision making. We have also sought out advice and guidance from our legal counsel as far as our liability releases and things like that are concerned. It appears as though First Pass, our liability form that we use is simply adequate. It's not great. Okay. So we look to try to shore that up a little bit as we move forward. And then the last part of this is the fact that the board had voted to seek out a third party to come in and do an independent assessment on our range in general and our safety practices. So we have spent an entire month seeking out who we think is the right person to or entity to get that done for us. It is apparent to us that the range, the shooting range, industry, if you will, is not highly regulated in the state of Ohio. So these people are not readily available, waiting by the phone for you to call and ask for their guidance. So it has taken longer than we had originally anticipated to find somebody. We made major headway on that this week. And I will include that as part of the package that I ultimately asked the board to look at and give me the approval to move forward with the information and establishing a date for these individuals to come in and set a timeline for reopening the amenity. I can tell you without question that it is the board's goal to get this done as soon as possible. None of the items or issues that were put in front of us came from anybody on the board. We were dealt these cards. And I need the membership to understand that. So basically what they have obligated us to doing is making sure that whatever we do going forward is done correctly. While we've got, and I hate these analogies, but while we've got the patient open, we're going to get everything that we need to get done so that when we open this thing back up, we do it with a clean bill of health and we can move forward. So that being said, more to follow. My goal, I have spent hours, if not days on end, working on this since last we met. And I wish we didn't have to go through this, but we are. And at the end of this, I would hope that we can verify that our range is being run safe. And one thing's for sure, I can't, nor can the board fix people that are adults that can't get along and work together within a committee. I can fix the legal portion of this. We can fix the safety portion of it. We can get guidance from outside parties, but none of them are going to be able to fix what we're going to ask you guys to help us get fixed in the long run. So that being said, that's kind of my update. Like I said, I wish we were better at doing this, but I'm glad we're not. And it's that simple. So.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who is the entity that you brought in to look at the safety of our range?
We haven't. Okay, we are still in the process of finalizing that. So once we do, we will handle that accordingly and make sure everybody knows who they are, where they came from, and what their titles are. So,
Okay, because my understanding is you've gone through several entities trying to get somebody out here to look at it.
no,
And you have been turned down by several of these entities, stating that they don't have the authority to come into a private range to look at the safety operation of our range.
yeah, and Chris, I'm not sure who told you that, but that's false.
Okay.
Okay, so,
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Because that is the word that is out there.
yeah,
That
that,
the NRA has turned you down, that other people have turned you down into coming in to look at the safety operation of our range.
and that's why I'm giving the update.
Okay.
That whole thing is being spearheaded by myself.
Okay.
And I can say with a great degree of certainty that that is not true.
Okay, I wanted
Okay.
to clarify that because
Sure.
that is the rumor that's out there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
so-
and,
among
and,
others.
and that's why we kind of sent out the e-blast, you know, we just, everybody just needs to stay calm. We're working on it. And I think we've made major progress and I think we're in a good direction with it. You know, I was encouraged by the board to get the e-blast out to you guys because the people were just coming up with all kinds of stuff and that happens in just about everything we do. Okay, you don't want to come out and give half-assed information. But you also, you know, don't want to wait too long before you get something out to people, you know, that want to know what's going on. So,
Fair enough.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Great. What is next? Yep, we need the official approval of the candidates for the Board of Trustees for 2022. Linda?
Just a second. We'll have a notice that will be actually posted tomorrow in both post offices. And it will also appear in the Echo. But you as the nominating committee, do you want to announce? Who your candidate?
Sure, I don't know that I bought, not that I don't know them off the top of my head, but
I can read a notice if you want, Chaz.
yeah, would you please? And I did head up the nominating committee. Doug Parker was part of that, as was Cabot, Julie Evans, and Gordon Vink. So we met multiple times and brainstormed and discussed who we thought that had thrown their hat in the ring
And
would be
talked to
good fits. And
various members, all of us, yes.
we talked to a lot of people.
Yes.
Yep,
Is it still the 5?
yes.
So here's the notice that will be posted. Pursuant to Article 5, Section 3, Hideaway Hills Club amended and restated Code of Regulations, the following members have been nominated as candidates for the 3 vacancies on the Board of Trustees, which will occur in August 2021. The nominees are Patrick Connor, Lot 354, John Cook, Lot 1633, Steve Cundiff, Lot 1995, Nancy McCoy, Lot 340, and Dave Mockenstern, Lot 409. And this will be signed by Chaz and placed in the post office boxes. It'll appear in the Echo, and these 5 people have submitted their resumes. So those will also be in the June Echo.
Okay. I might add
Yes.
also that we did have some discussion centering around what was it, the A-Help committee that we had last year in making the candidates available to everybody to speak with. I think the consensus is that we all agreed that I think we did this 5 times last year and we thought that was a little excessive. We thought it was a little excessive and not criticizing anybody, but that we would want to at least have one meet and greet session possibly before one of the concerts for people that wanted to engage the candidates and ask them questions and give them a chance to meet them if they don't already know them.
Who's on the A-HELP committee, Chaz?
It disbanded.
Yeah, it's no longer.
Yeah, that was just an ad hoc thing.
Good.
Yeah.
So last year and the year before, I believe they did questions in the Echo and did a little short video presentation of each candidate so people could put a face and hear the person and now, introduce themselves. Will they be doing that this year?
We will not. And let me tell you why. We, in more than one case, in the meet and greets and or the videos, there were problems associated with them. People, felt as though they weren't given the same amount of time somebody else was. And we had people that, felt as though they had been approached with the same questions more than one time at the meet and greets. And so there were problems associated with that. And we don't want to duplicate those problems. But we want to be able to, to get the bios and the resumes and things like that. In the Echo, we do want them to also be able to put a face with the name, if you will. So
I guess we could, if the board wants to, we don't get that involved in promoting anyone. But
yes,
we have the questions from last year. The bios will appear in the June Echo. If we want, we could put answers to the questions, say, just use the same ones last year and put that in the July Echo. So that.
yeah, I
people
mean,
get a
make no
little more
mistake
info.
about it, in case there's any, the board is not endorsing any one of these 5 individuals, okay? All we're doing is approving the names to be put on the ballot and to be put on the communication that's associated with who's running for this year's positions.
Well, I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't, because it's a voluntary thing. It was a voluntary thing last year. You didn't have to answer those questions that were submitted. There was no requirement. It wasn't part of the resume that was submitted.
Yeah, they were biased
Right.
questions, though,
The
Doug.
question.
I felt they were biased questions, yes.
Really?
I didn't-
Yes.
I never
I
felt,
didn't-
because
didn't
I was
see
one of
them
the
that
people,
way,
I
but
never
that's
felt like
okay.
that.
That's okay. We can differ on
Yeah.
that. But the bottom line is, if you want, we could reuse those questions. We could get a committee to refashion those questions. I'm not
Yeah,
opposed to that.
absolutely not. If somebody feels as though they're biased, we're not going to duplicate that again this year. I mean,
Well, see, that's why, again,
Yeah.
what we used to do in the old days, very simply, was we had at least, as I recall, at least 2. And they were, I don't know whether they were staggered in terms of their timing or whatever, but prior to the election, there were 2 open opportunities in upstairs. We had them on a Sunday afternoon, and we might have had them on a Saturday morning or something like that. I forget. But I can always remember going to 2 of those. And maybe 3, I don't recall, but they were open-ended questions. Obviously, you didn't have the communications channels that you've got today. And things were much more face-to-face back then.
yeah, and I think last year's iteration, if you will, was something that we thought was a good idea. And I think in some respect it worked good and some it didn't. And so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making an adjustment to what we're going to do going forward. I don't think we've ever established a protocol, if you will.
No, there wasn't
of-
anything. set in
Yeah,
stone, no.
so,
I do think a multiple opportunity, because if somebody can't make the one and we're only doing
Right,
one
right.
before a concert. But I think 2 or 3 is reasonable for the candidates to be available. And then any questions, they go face to face with the question. And nobody can, say this was favoring this or that. The candidates answer the question the best of their ability by the people that ask that question. So but I think you need more than one gathering. for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
well, so this doesn't, I think, fall under the heading of the nominating committee, which is a misnomer in and of itself. We're not nominating anyone. And we probably should put together that type of framework here very shortly. So I think that falls underneath communication.
I don't think so. I think there needs to be a volunteer as communication is gone for half of June.
I do know that we all discussed making the one provision when we were sitting there talking about
Can
the
we-
candidates.
can
Did
we,
we
like-
not?
Yeah.
And so if we want to make an adjustment.
Well, last year was nice because it was a group of members who actually organized this, the
Yeah, the
AHEL
board- the
committee,
board
not
didn't
the
do it.
Yeah,
board.
Sure.
yeah.
No, the board gave no oversight at all. That
No.
was the problem.
Well, so could if we want to do more than one, can we talk about that, sort of toss ideas around outside of here, so we could just keep moving on? and
Right.
then-
Yeah, so right
Yeah.
now, I need to move that we accept the 5 nominees to be placed on the August ballot.
Second.
Seconded by
Linda,
Linda. Okay, discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And,
Um,
and everybody else who might still be mulling this over in the membership, well, maybe I could run and maybe I don't want to run. They have they've been notified and will continue to be notified.
I was gonna
Their
ask Linda to
opportunities.
cover that
Well,
before we,
I believe they are, but I'm just saying that out loud right now.
I got you.
Yeah.
Do you want to state what the
Yeah.
guideline is after tonight?
I've already sent out the dates and offhand, I don't remember.
No,
I
that's
will
okay,
tell
that's
you
okay,
that,
yeah.
since the cutoff for the Echo is this week, it would be impossible to get anybody else's resume in the Echo. I think they have until, it's
15
Which
days
d-
after.
Yeah.
Which doesn't preclude them from
No, not at
pulling
all.
It's
together.
10
the-
It's
okay,
actually
yeah.
with the schedule, with the timing this time, it's like 10 days, but people can petition to get on the ballot and they
Right,
have
right.
until I think it's June 2nd. I'll check the dates and
Yeah.
send it out
With signatures.
with signatures.
Yeah, they-
That's by code. They got to have a petition with 15 signatures. We changed that. We extended the period of time for people. And I even said all they had to do if you wanted, anybody who wanted to run was contact anybody on the nominating committee
Correct.
prior to yesterday. And you would be on, and we didn't get any contacts. I confirmed with the committee.
Yep.
Nobody asked. So from this point forward, if people want to get on the ballot, I think it's June, but I'll have to check
Yeah.
about what
That's
the
right.
date is, but they have to do it with petition with 15 signatures. It has to
might
be
be
into
good to
the
blast
office.
that one more time. I mean, just from the office here, just as a reminder. Everybody
That's a
loves
communication.
Or, as far as the ultimate drop dead, you got to do this by this date. We could even post that on the signs outside there too.
Yeah, because we are bound by
Yeah.
code.
Right.
The date at which
Correct.
it's the
Sure.
drop
Right.
dead date.
Correct. So you just
And
post
Penny
that
will
date
start-
and try to.
We'll start printing the ballots
Yeah.
before too long.
Okay, we're done with that. All right, reaffirm the votes. Mary Beth Fisher.
I'll read the 8-0 votes first. May 12th, approved poker run for tennis committee for August 13th from noon to 5 PM. May 9th, approved the purchase of 12 dock bumpers not to exceed $200. John Blankenship ordered and installed. May 5th, approved golf course closure for Women's Golf League on Thursdays from 12:30 to 2:30 PM in May and 9:30 to 11:30 AM in June through August. On May 4th, Lakes Committee is approved to spend $1,250 for sand work at the beach area to pay for hauling and slinging sand to the beach. 40 tons of sand is donated by Todd Fritz for this project. Thank you, Todd. May 2, 500 is approved to be paid from the Chapel Compassion Subcommittee to reimburse Rich Radowski for food purchase for the Mother's Day meal on May 6th to benefit the homeless in surrounding counties. April 29th, the fitness waiver presented by the Health and Wellness Center has been approved. April 28th, the Lakes Committee to sponsor a hold for 100. What?
It's a whole.
A hold.
Hold.
Sorry.
I changed it already.
Okay, Lakes Committee to sponsor a hole for $100 for the Gulf Committee's May 6th event, which the Lakes Committee has done for the past 20 years. May 25, approve the grilling competition at the airstrip on July 16th at 6 PM. April 25, approved golf committee to spend up to $1,500 for member guest gifts and trophies. April 25, approved for the golf committee to spend up to $600 for the golf work day supplies and lunch for workers afterwards. And April 21, approved September 10 and 11 for airport committee yearly fly-in event. On April 23rd, we approved to have security change the locks at the amenity range, at the range amenity 7 to 1. April 22, for the ACC, we rescinded the prior language to be listed in the ECHO for 2 months regarding sections 200 and 700 and approved the modified language to be listed in the ECHO. That was 7 to 0. I make a motion that we approve the e-votes.
I'll second.
Yeah, I forget how many of those we do every month. Motion made to approve the e-votes by Mary Beth Fisher, seconded by Linda Hodge. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. New business topics. I was contacted by a member by the name of Marty Shaw. Marty lives at lot 52E. Marty wants to inquire as to whether or not the board would allow the Bern Union cross-country track team to use the area that is commonly known as the ORV track, or the general area back towards Rush Creek. Bern Union is in the process of losing their track because they are building a new high school. And Marty said that this would be a mid-September cross-country track event for high school aged boys and girls. And there would be approximately 3 to 4 teams that would attend the meet. He did throw at me some other details, as in, where would people park? Where, how much advance track building time they would need and things like that. And I told him, I said, let's put it in front of the board to begin with, to see whether or not they are open to the concept. And I obligated myself to bringing it up under new business topics tonight.
So Chaz, is this like, I didn't quite get it. Is it one meet that he's asking for, or is it
Yes.
practice time up to the meet?
It would be, I think he said 2 to 3 practices for Bern Union only
Okay,
prior to the meet. And then the meet in and of itself, which would consist of 3 to 4 boys and girls track teams from local area schools. Again, they are simply going to lose their facility for a period of time, and Marty wanted to throw it on the table and see what we come up with.
do we have any precedent for doing anything like this? Anybody know? Using.
No.
The only thing that I can tell you we do is we do let the Boy Scouts in there in the same area to have their weekend event as well every year. And we've done that for many years standing.
What is
And that's a
their week-
weekend long deal.
What is the weekend event? I don't remember it, but
It is it's simply a camp out that Mike Adams is in charge of that contains multiple events,
Used to be.
fire, bonfire,
That's
that kind of
never
stuff.
been approved by the board that I can recall.
It has.
I
yeah.
don't remember that. I
I
don't remember that.
remember one year I don't remember us approving it. I believe you, what
Yeah.
it was, but I do remember the Boy Scouts there because there were some stuck in the silt pond. And there was some trespassing on people's property, and people weren't happy about it. So.
Yeah, and see, I don't remember any of that, but
yeah,
I
that's
do
how
know in the
found it.
past it has been requested and Randy Swetnam
I think,
would
yeah,
bring
that's
it
why I
to
say,
the-
I think
yeah.
that was just done by the management kind of thing.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I told Marty I'd be more than happy to bring it up and get feedback on it.
So they're gonna actually prepare a track that would be suitable for high school
For 3 high schools.
events?
Well, it's cross country.
Yeah, it's cross country.
Oh, cross
They would
country.
use the
Okay.
woods back behind the
Okay,
track
okay,
and, you know.
okay.
That would be
Well,
difficult.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
different.
and,
That's
and he
different.
said,
Okay.
look, and if there are boundaries, and obviously there are, you know, that they would adhere to whatever boundaries it is that we would put in play, you know, because of our.
Could we
We don't
incur
have.
some liability for that?
Well, you'd have
Right.
to, you'd
Yeah.
have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to
obviously.
be a waiver of liability.
And that's exactly
And we're
right.
shutting down 2 amenities because we obviously can't have the range running when that was going on.
Yeah,
Point well
It's not just
taken.
range, it's
Yep.
ORV.
yeah.
I don't, and don't quote me on this, I don't think this is a weekend event. I could be wrong. I think it's you know, my son runs track for Fairfield Union and all of those are for the most part in the middle of the week type.
Just wonder if it would create a nightmare for our security. So our
Well, you'd
staff.
have to, yeah, the boatyard, I mean, the boneyard would have to be basically limited access.
Yeah,
at
There'd be
best, yeah.
quite a few things that would
Yeah,
have to
a
happen.
number
What was
of
the date on
things.
that again?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the date?
He didn't give me a definitive date because next year's track schedule isn't established yet. But he said it would be mid-September-ish. So,
And how many people would run? How many kids would run?
3 teams.
Also, the
Yeah.
parents would be here too.
yeah,
And the
and
families.
I would tell you that these are not, especially in dealing with, it's been my experience with the local schools, these are not massive teams. I mean, these are smaller Division II
Well,
schools.
especially if it's just a cross-country event. I mean, like I say,
Yeah.
as opposed to a track meet, that's, the logistics of that kind of made my head
Yeah,
explode a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cross-country.
Yeah, okay. Just cross-country.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Could we think
Okay.
about it and then vote on it maybe at the
Yeah.
next meeting?
Well, we're gonna have to check with the.
Yeah, we
inevitable
would have
of-
multiple
of
things we
attorney
need to check with.
See
I'd
what
like
the
to know,
liability
does-
is.
Does ORV, are they be supporting this?
Yeah.
We should check with them.
It would be good to check with Spangler regarding premises liability
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
without
and
question.
what we would need
Have
to
to.
do to.
And I'm
protect the
sure,
club.
you know, when we're dealing with Burn Union School System, but obviously a smaller school. But I'm quite certain that they would have input that would be favorable to them and accepting their part of the liability and things like that. So why don't I tell him while he can, if he can get us, continue to get us details. We'll compile them. And in the meantime, put the feelers out for where we might be with it and we can go from there. Okay,
Right to you then.
okay.
Wow.
Okay. Range SOP. I did late yesterday afternoon and I forwarded it to everybody on the board. Get a copy of the latest draft of the range SOP that Steve Cundiff sent me the night before last. I think there was some confusion in that. I think maybe some of us thought we were going to vote on it tonight, but we simply didn't have it long enough for us to be able to completely vet it and get back to each other with questions. So one thing I will tell you that I have been adamant about for quite some time is the fact that the first time I laid eyes on the range SOP, I thought it was fantastic. But there were some things internally with the committee that that they couldn't come to terms on amongst themselves. And apparently they have done so. So what we have is the final version. And they put it in front of us for us to put our eyes on it and ask any questions. Yep. guys, the night you first handed that out to us, midsummer last year, I was extremely impressed with it. I think it's good. So at any rate, we now have it, and that is part of this whole equation for us to read, understand, agree on, and move forward with. We now have our answers as far as our questions were concerned that we gave the committee last month. We now have the SOP. We are narrowing in on the search for somebody to come in and give us a third party opinion. I believe that we've put together the questions that we've sent to our club council, and the SOP is a big part of this. So please look at it and get back to me as soon as possible, because we're accumulating this information, these answers, and these questions, and we want to get them back upstream as quick as possible. Okay. The petty variance, we can forget the easement part of this because we already took care of that.
Yes,
Linda
this-
Lonzer.
This is part 2 of the petty property. They've requested a variance, and you've heard a little bit earlier from Chris regarding the topography of the building site. So I'm just going to read the proposed notice to members. And this proposed notice to members that I'm about to read would run 2 months in the Echo, and then the following 2 months of board meetings, we would have 2 open hearings. So if you approve after a motion is made, then it is just to run this in the Echo twice and then move it into the process of open hearings. Anyway, notice to members. Member David Petty owns lots 2016, 17, and 18 in Montezuma Lane, has requested a variance to section 300.01 of the Hideaway Hills Building Code because he cannot meet the 25-foot minimum front line, lot line, building setback requirement. David Petty has requested a variance in order to have the front of a new dwelling closer to the road right away than permitted. Drawings and additional information are on file in the Hideaway Hills office. David Petty states that his request for a variance is based on these lots' steepness and the ravines. He needs to locate his septic system leach field on a less steep area and also keep the house a required minimum distance from the leach field. This pushes the house, the front of the house, into the required front lot line setback. This notice, as written, will appear in 2 consecutive echoes, June and July. Following this notification, the board will hold open hearings at 2 consecutive regular board meetings. And that would be the July 19th and August 16th board meetings. Comments and concerns should be directed to the board in writing. Comments received prior to a public hearing will be read aloud at the hearing. So this is the notice for a variance for Dave Petty. I would like to make a motion to have this notice run in 2 echoes, and then we'd have 2 open meetings to follow before we would have the final vote.
Question, Linda, do we have, since the annual meeting is in August, do we also have a meeting, a regular board meeting in August?
This board will
Good
not.
question.
This particular board will not.
But a new board,
A
New board would be
well,
voting on.
Let's,
but it's
Let
the
us look.
16th, it's before.
It's always after the annual meeting.
First Tuesday after the
It's right after the annual.
It tends to fall right after. That's the 21st.
Yeah.
okay, so what date is the, what date do we have our annual
And
meeting?
21st August.
Okay, the 21st. So
So
we
that-
may be, if that is the, no, let's check.
So
Then we
that
would have
Good
another one.
Will it
Question.
be the 23rd?
Now we got a board meeting on the 16th.
16th, yeah. you
So
had-
we would
you
have-
had
It's
the
the third
election.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same, yeah, same board.
third Tuesday. Yeah, you got another one, sister.
Tell me it's not true.
They
It's
thought they
true.
thought they were done.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Yep, so it is before.
Better
So
quit Xing them days off.
I guess, Chris, you were right on the money there. So it is July 19th and August 16th board meetings where the two open hearings would be held. And at the August 16th meeting, the vote would occur.
Yep.
So this is variance for Petty. I've made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mary Beth. Discussion. And this is to post it in the
Echo for two
Echo for
cycles.
2 consecutive months and ultimately vote on it at the August 16th board meeting.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion
Whoops.
perspective, I mean, how far into the 25-foot variance are they coming? I don't see where that's just that they're coming into. it. Chris?
Chris? We're gonna get you your own seat.
My answer is I do not know.
Oh, okay.
But I hope to know by August 16th. I have encouraged the member to make his decision. He started the building process in the sense of design. And from what I know, Fairfield County Health shifted his septic field around and this and that, which is what they're supposed to do in evaluating that. That changed where the house could go. And he's had his, I'm going to say excavator contractor out, and they've been laying out the house and shifting it here and shifting it there. And he, of course, wants to build like all of us yesterday. And so I said, well, if you want a variance as soon as possible, you better get this to me and to Andy in the office and Linda for tonight's meeting. But he could not commit to exactly where the house is going to be. And I've told him that it's to his advantage to have a very specific site plan by the time a decision is made. But I
mean, I
can't.
guess that's the point, is he gonna put it, I mean, with us approving this, he could put this right on the edge of the road. And
That's what I said.
No 25-foot at all.
But you could all vote no.
So this is just to get it to run in the Echo. for
Right,
2 months,
That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not approval or disapproval. It's just to get it. And I've said to him, and I said exactly that. I said, now, how close to zero are you planning to go? And he, at this point, could not give me an answer.
So
But-
what we're seeing here is just anybody's guess at this point. This looks to be the front of the house.
Yes,
And this is the area of the variance.
right.
So that one, I assume that means that's where the intrusion is. So it looks like it's right on the edge, but is.
Well,
this
but see,
inaccurate or accurate?
No, see how these are leach field lines.
Right.
And he needs to move the house away from those leach field lines.
Oh, I
So-
thought this is, well, it'd be nice if we could see where he wants to.
I
site that house.
agree.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Is
I
I
it,
thought
agree,
we were
yeah.
looking at a done deal here in
No, no.
terms of citing the house.
is it
No,
better
we're
to
not.
wait
No.
Chris, till we
Oh,
have that
that's different.
information?
Pardon?
Is it better for us to wait till he has that information?
Well, that would push his construction off one more month or 2 more months.
Yeah, but we don't know what he's doing. How can we?
Well,
prove
we've
that?
got to have that site on this map.
Yeah.
In order to put it in the Echo?
Yeah, we just.
Do we need it for the Echo or do we
I don't
need it
know.
for?
Well, you
to vote
definitely,
no?
you definitely
Or
need it
yes?
to make a decision.
We
Right.
can't
The
vote,
question-
but can we put it in the Echo just to get it out there and started?
What have we done in the past, I guess is my question.
haven't.
Have
Well,
we?
I think we've
Yeah,
had the
okay, so
details.
what's that?
I think we've had the details.
Yeah.
By the time you voted, I'm trying to think.
It's nice to have it before the Echo. I don't know that we have to have it, but we certainly have to have it, I think, by the time we have our first
Oh,
hearing.
yeah,
We've got
obviously,
to get
yeah.
it out to the members so that they can get their, okay, let's back up. Members need to be able to comment.
And they can't comment without knowing what they're
That's
commenting
right.
about.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah.
So I may rescind
Your motion.
my motion to approve this because I am worried that if it goes out into the Echo, what are we notifying people of and how do they give their concerns if they don't know specifically what those concerns might be? So
Yeah.
your point's well
Yeah,
taken there.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
Well-
let's go back upstream to him and say, hey, this is gonna impede our ability to post this. so.
I suggested that he be specific and he said he wasn't ready to be specific. And
Well,
so
we may
that's
not
his
know.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm.
Vote on
Do you have
it,
any
Chris.
thoughts, Andy?
Yeah,
He-
that's
he
what I was
did
just gonna
lay out-
say.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
can e-vote on it, but we can't get it in the echo after Friday.
right.
This is the deadline is
Yeah, I mean,
Friday.
it's,
Friday. yeah.
Basically
if the
Thursday, but
protocol
yeah.
has been, we've always had that information before we put it in the echo,
Well,
then
I think we need to have that protocol because if not, it's kind of a moot point to put it in the echo because we're noticing them with some kind of nebulous. We're going to do this, but we don't know what it is exactly. I don't like that.
But I mean, we also need to be consistent in what we're doing when we agree on
well, the
that.
only variance that I've experienced since I've been on the committee is the well. And that was already there when we got the request for a variance, so
just
we
don't
knew
have-
exactly where it was. I know. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we're comparing apples and oranges.
I would say if he can get us, if he can get us the information by Friday, we can get it in the echo and
Right.
move forward. If he
Yeah.
can't, then I need to know next month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's what,
It's his problem. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
it is.
we
Just have to delay it a
suggested
month
something,
then.
or at least say, reduce the setback from 25 feet to 15 feet or something along that line. If he
what
can't,
about a not to exceed or something, right?
or,
mean, if
some
he
more
feels
specific
relatively-
language, yeah.
Yeah,
But he emailed me back and said, no, he wanted it the way he wrote it. So, okay.
Tell
yeah.
them we
Can't be fully considered until we get.
So I think
Okay.
Andy's been trying to say something for like
Yeah,
5 minutes.
go ahead, Andy.
So I was out at the site yesterday, take a look at, where he wanted to lay out his house. As well as the trees that need to be removed and the septic and everything was laid out accordingly. And he does have marks on the ground as far as the setback from the center of the cul-de-sac there. And so I would encourage to go look at it by the board. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, and I did speak with him yesterday evening when I went out there to say, please hold off on any construction. And
Oh, he doesn't have a permit. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
right.
And he said
That
that he
doesn't-
had his tree people coming in to take down trees today.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said, please hold off on doing that until you get board approval for the easements, number one. And number
Mhm.
two, as we talk about this variance as well.
Mhm.
And he called me back this morning and said that he couldn't rearrange his tree service people to reschedule and stuff too. So again, that is on him.
Did he
Mhm.
take the trees down?
I haven't been out there today. I don't know.
Could you check that tomorrow
Yes, I could.
Hmm.
and let us know?
Right.
Yeah, we probably need you to get back with us. We're not gonna approve it today.
Okay, that's fine. I'll convey that to him.
well, it wasn't gonna be approved today anyhow.
Right.
We
Yeah,
were
to go in
approved
the
to put
echo.
it in the echo.
We gotta have
And
more
maybe
detail.
pitch a not to succeed scenario to him
Yeah.
or,
Would the
I mean,
committee
ultimately,
be
it's
happy
up to
with like, say, reduce it from 25 to, I don't know, to pick a number, 15 feet or something?
long as it's
Just a-
specific
A
and
range,
accurate.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Just so the community knows what they're
Mhm.
commenting on.
Yeah, because they have to be provided
Mhm.
the notice. The membership has to be provided the notice, so they can comment. We're required to give them that notice that they can consider.
Mhm.
We don't- Our hands are tied.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way the rule works.
Andy, could you tell what the setback might be from the markings that he had?
It was hard to say.
It's
Uh,
overgrown, so you can't tell where the road is necessarily. He knows where
You
his
can see where the road is, better than maybe some other lots. It's not, doesn't have a lot of understory, growth to it, but, there are some nice trees on that property, so.
Have
just
they surveyed the lot?
I believe they have.
Well, sometimes that doesn't get done, as I found.
Right.
Mhm.
So I would make sure that they've got a survey done first of all. If they haven't, that would be job one. for them.
Mhm.
There's a lot of markings out there on trees,
Okay,
stakes,
well, if-
everything else. So
If it's been surveyed, well, the builders I've learned don't always do that.
Right.
Sometimes find that out after the fact. And
Mhm.
people go, oops, what
Oops,
do you
I know.
mean?
So I can either check it tonight on my way out, or I can go
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
So you haven't approved the trees.
No, I have not
Yeah,
approved the
and
trees.
John, have you? John is also our tree approver. Yeah, well, they shouldn't be cut if they
No,
haven't gotten approval.
and for the record, I did call him yesterday and told him.
Yeah.
Letting you know, because he wants to move forward with all this project.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there are guidelines.
yeah, right.
So,
And the
Chris, actually-
variance takes time and construction takes planning.
The ECHO deadline is actually Thursday afternoon,
Right,
so he
yeah.
needs to get some detail
Yeah.
prior to that. I'll talk to Ginger about holding
Yeah.
a little space, but we can't go
Yeah,
And then we
beyond.
do a quickie road.
Yeah.
yeah, if he's
When you-
willing.
Right.
So just some, I'm trying to think, like, by specific language, there is some range would be acceptable. Like say not to exceed some, although, yeah, he's on a cul-de-sac. And the cul-de-sac, Montezuma Lane is 60 feet wide, which is surprising. Most roads right of ways are 40, but it's 60 feet and his cul-de-sac circle is 120 feet. And that's part of his problem is he's cutting into that circle. He doesn't have a parallel line that he's building. And I think from talking, he's been to the ACC meeting a couple of times. And I think he almost at some point was saying, maybe I would like a 0-foot setback. I don't know that the ACC has no opinion at this point. We're just dealing with detail. But a cul-de-sac is a bit of an oddity and a little bit more difficult to accommodate with respect to setbacks. So, but whether that plays, how much of a role it plays here, I don't know. But what pushed the house forward is that the septic system is higher up on the hill than he thought it would be initially.
Well, let's see what he comes back.
Yeah,
with and see
I'll
if we
contact,
can-
he gets back to me right away.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna
think-
rescind your motion.
You have to
Yes,
rescind your.
I do need to send my motion. Thank you.
Okay.
Chris.
But
Thank
there
you,
is
Chris.
the option of doing an approval by e-vote by
Yes.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell him that.
Thank you very much. I would like to make a motion to rescind my previous motion regarding putting the petty variance in the ECHO for 2 months.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
So do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, we moved.
Okay, so any further discussion on the rescinding of the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ad hoc, what's that? Forming an ad hoc committee of 3 pursuant to HAH Rule 8 to address appearance of member property. You know, I gotta tell you, I made a comment when I saw this and was asked to put it on the agenda. This particular one is as old as dogs chasing cats, okay?
Yeah.
It's so old that at one time I was the chairman of the very same thing back the last time I was on the board. And
Lucky you.
yeah, so I mean, this isn't the first go around with this, but you know, it comes up just about all the time. And there's lots of opportunity for appearance of property. So
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
So do we make a motion to form this ad hoc committee?
That's
You
what,
know, Rule 8 just says the president can
Picks 3 people,
picks 3 people and creates the ad hoc. I don't know that we,
even make a
yeah.
motion. And it's not board members or
No,
management.
It
It's
can be.
normal people.
Right.
Yep. You know, the only thing I would caution all of us on as it relates to this is that, you know, whatever it is we do has to have teeth. And the minute it gets into needing teeth is where this whole thing gets a little goofy. So just know, if you will, as we move forward, that, I mean, we even went so far as at one time to go and survey every lot and piece of property in Hideaway Hills for its appearance.
Right.
Because there's a lot of obscure places where there are junk cars parked and things of that nature. So if we move forward with it, we got to be all in.
Yeah.
So,
It was just brought to my attention, so I'm bringing it to the board.
okay.
How did it come to be? I mean, not that I don't think that we have an issue, because we do, but
Well, I know when I was on ACC as board rep, that it came to our attention, tons of properties that needed attention. And neighbors complain, and then some people complain and don't want to write it up because they don't
They don't
want
wanna be
their
the party.
neighbors
Yep.
mad at them. But John went out to some homes that were terrible. And they needed something done, but we didn't really have a process in place. So, and then they wanted to do the propane covers, and there wasn't really a process in place for how we were gonna do that. So she became the board rep, and that's probably similar to what's happening.
so is this through an ACC kind of thing? Is that,
It could come up through ACC, and then it comes up through individuals making comments and what
Yeah.
can we do about it? So that's, generally speaking, how it came.
And I can, unless something's drastically changed, I'll go out and try to find 3 people to carry this torch and it'll be tough, and people will give us the same reasons why, they're reluctant to do it. But if that's what we agree we're gonna do, I'll be more than happy to get it rolling.
well, it seems like that they need to come up with some kind of criteria, standard, something.
Well, you've got the code and the rules as a guideline, back in the day, it was what spurred the whole thing on was the fact that we had campers starting to be parked in Hideaway Hills, and, members were on fire about it. But when we looked at the code and the regulations, it just says that you can't be living in the camper, not that you can't have it. So, I mean, it's those kinds of things that come into play when we move this direction.
So
Maybe a little bit of that already happening.
I can think of 4 properties right now that are abandoned and dilapidated.
Yes.
Oh, without question.
And that's an issue.
I think when this thing kind of got caught fire again was when you had somebody call and ask you a question about, and Mary Beth forwarded it to me. You were out of town or something, and I went and looked at it and said I could understand why, this needs addressed. So,
Okay, so we got that.
So let's go ahead and do that. Does everybody agree?
Sure.
And then we can come up with a process.
okay.
Works for me.
All right. Lot joinder issue, Mary Beth Fisher.
Okay, so this is Chris Milburn's property. And Chris has 2 lots, pays 1 assessment. They are joined. And it's my understanding there's a structure across his lots, and has been there, two owners prior to Chris. 3 owners prior, thanks, Chris. 3 owners prior to Chris. And prior, we did waiver of easement here tonight. That apparently was not done previously, and I have a feeling we might find several of these that weren't done properly. And we have asked Chris to pay the $255 legal and filing to take care of that. In Hawking, I think the number is $255. Does that strike you as right, Andy? In Hawking, that covers like our legal fees and filing fees and whatnot. In Fairfield, apparently it really doesn't, because you have to do 2 deeds there, and it's a different process, so it doesn't cover every fee. But he has been asked to pay this fee to take care of this problem that was created 3 owners before him. And I think, do you want to talk to us and tell us your thoughts on it real quick?
Yeah, actually, my mortgage company and the title company did some research on this when I brought it to their attention.
Chris, can you talk in the microphone, please?
What brought this about was
I went to the office to ask Penny about filing for a variance to put up a fence in my backyard for my dogs. And when Penny pulled all my records up, she's like, well, you've got 2 lots and they've never been joined. The house was remodeled in 2001 by a Robert Montgomery. When the house was remodeled, the house crossed the lot lines. Basically, if you're familiar with my house, there's a breezeway and then the 2-car garage. That section of the remodel is what crossed the lot lines. Now, in a picture that Penny gave me, Robert Montgomery made a note on the picture that the lots had been joined. But Penny said, according to the records here at Hideaway Hills, they've never been joined. But in some of the paperwork and Chad, who was the president back in July of last year here? Was that you, Chaz?
July, no, that would have been Linda.
And I.
Linda, is that your signature?
I must have done, said, I said it was
No.
a waiver of easement, so it was joinder. that he's
Okay.
gotta do.
Well, anyways, in the paperwork provided by the mortgage company and the title company, there is a notarized paper, general warranty deed from the owners, Tammy Stewart and Rex Stewart, the previous owners. And in here, it states the foregoing real property is granted by the grantor and accepted by the grantee, except for the following and subject to all of which this conveyance is made: legal highways, zoning ordinance, real estate taxes, and assessments, which are now or may hereafter become a lien on said premises, covenants, conditions, restrictions, and easement of record, and all coal, oil, gas, and other mineral rights and interests previously transferred or reserved to record. This is certified that Chris A. Milburn is accepted as a member of Hideaway Hills Club and that it has no claim for any past due assessments and within conveyance is approved. So somebody signed off on it, that there are no assessments owed by me.
Okay.
In the
hold on,
conveyance.
Chris. So
I don't
what
think
it-
we're saying that.
Yeah, so
right?
what it is Penny was saying you need to join your lots, right?
And I have to pay a fee to do that.
And a $255 fee. And she's not saying you have to go back and pay for the lots, second lot, all these years.
No, no,
Just
that's
to
not what I'm
join them
saying.
Now,
Just to join them now.
okay. So that's really the crux of it.
And the crux of it is this should have been done 3 owners ago at any transfer of the deed. This all should have been researched and any previous owner or whoever added onto the house
Wouldn't it,
and crossed the lot lines.
wouldn't the title company do that? That would be a flaw in the title.
No, that-
In the chain of, no?
And they didn't do a survey, correct? When
there
they
was a
bought
survey
the
done in
land?
2019. Not when I bought the house. And I've got a copy of the survey in my paperwork as well.
So you're asking, would we waive the fee?
Yes.
Well, now, keep in mind, of course, when you own 2 lots, and you don't build across them, of course, you don't pay any additional assessment. You never
right.
have.
Well,
you
yeah,
never
I think
have.
we.
And there's no reason to join those lots together. We always tell people that. There's no reason for you to do that. But it changed, obviously, when we got into this, what we did
Breezeway or
earlier
whatever that
tonight with
was.
South Central Power and vacating the easement and all, right to the easement or challenge the easement, whatever the legal language is. But the bottom line is, I can actually, off the top of my head, think of 2 houses that I know are built across lot lines. And the lots aren't joined.
Oh,
I mean, I just know it, and I'm not gonna go there, but the bottom line is, it's gonna be found elsewhere. What I'm getting at right now is, I don't think there's much point, my personal opinion, I happen to be a board member, my personal opinion is there's really no need to go back and start searching for this stuff. Because if you're a board member, and what is it, 2 feet? I mean, in terms of the encroachment into the lot line, over the lot line, how much of the building?
Well, the garage is 24
Just
by 24,
approximate.
and then you've also got the breezeway, which is another 12 feet, so there's 36 feet of house over the lot line.
And Chris, this came up because you wanted to put a fence in, right, for your
Yeah.
dogs? That's how he discovered this.
Well,
And
the
he's
fence
not-
doesn't have anything with.
Well,
to
they,
do with
they
this.
wouldn't let him, I'm sure, is it because you have to join the lots because they won't
Yes.
let you put a fence
Yeah.
up that crosses?
The
Lots
fence
of
is
lots that aren't
structure,
joined.
yeah.
Yes.
Who won't let him put a fence up? AEP or South Central? Or is it
No.
us?
Or
that won't let him put a
ACC or
fence?
who?
Well, he would have to apply to do it internally with
Okay,
Hideaway
so I
Hills.
mean, I guess the question is, what's the point of forcing this joiner? Can we just do nothing?
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
And
The
I
same
agree
thing
with
with the
that.
others.
I think that the mistake wasn't Chris's.
Okay.
Well, I understand that,
And-
absolutely.
but I mean, and
That's
I don't
true.
know
Yeah,
that-
okay,
There's the
Two
lot
hundred
line.
fifty-five
Okay.
bucks.
There's the
Okay.
breezeway and the
Okay.
garage.
I
okay.
don't know what it hurts if we
Okay.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't-
I mean, it's not the money, it's the,
That it should have
Yeah, I
been
get
done
it, I
before
get
now.
it,
Yeah.
I get it.
So that,
Yeah.
but the question becomes, if we leave it alone and we say Chris doesn't pay it, and nor should he.
This is gonna come up
is he-
again.
Is he able to get the fence? They're saying.
I think the ultimate goal here is to build a fence, right, Chris?
well, the ultimate goal is to build the fence, but the variance is gonna be needed because you've got a 4-foot limit on the fencing. I've got huskies that will jump a 4-foot fence in a heartbeat, so I need to put a 6-foot fence up.
Well, that's a whole different matter.
That's
Right.
different, that's for a
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
day.
but
That's a whole nother matter.
Right, but that's what brought all this to
Yeah, I
the
got you.
forefront.
I got
Okay,
you.
so bottom line is, I think everybody agrees you don't have to pay it.
That's all I'm asking.
We'll
is
figure
that-
out
Okay.
what we can figure out with
And
the
as they
fence.
come forward, as we become aware of them.
Well, I mean, you're setting
I
a
don't think
precedent
he's
here and that
saying-
doesn't,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think he's saying not pay it. I think he's saying don't do the joint.
Don't do it. Yes.
don't
No,
And
I
still
don't see
approve
any
Chris's
reason
Well,
to
fence.
do it. We
see,
don't-
see, here's the problem
Right.
though. My mortgage company, when I explained all this to them, they said, and I sent them the language that is supposed to be on the deed for Hideaway Hills. And they said, Chris, if this language is supposed to be on the deed and it's not, we wouldn't have given you the loan for the house. And the title company said, we wouldn't have given you a clean title to the house if this language is supposed to be on your deed and it's not. So the deed's gonna have to be changed somehow, some way to reflect.
Because when you go to sell, correct?
Yes.
You may
See,
not
I'm
be able
having
to
a
do
hard
that.
time understanding how Hideaway is at fault in this particular case. I mean, and
Because-
bear with me because, I mean, it was done 3 owners back, right? Where did Hideaway error?
So wouldn't the ACC would have had to maybe approve, I assume they approved him building across the lots, right?
Should have.
And now we don't really know if
We got
that
no
happened.
Prior
idea.
owner.
Well, it depends on what's in the file.
Yeah, we'd have to
Did
figure
Penny,
that
do you
out.
know if Penny looked through the whole file?
Do you know if it was approved that you, the?
Well,
prior-
believe me, those files sometimes contain virtually nothing and sometimes they contain a lot of stuff.
Isn't this where title insurance comes in now? If they didn't
That's
catch it,
exactly what
they
I was
should
saying a
have-
couple of minutes ago. Title insurance should,
Should have caught this.
Yes.
And if there is a problem, the title.
Without
insurance should
question.
Cover the $250
Yeah.
or whatever else. it
and
is.
that's exactly right.
And maybe it's kind of loose practices here very quickly. When I built my house, Paul, who was in charge at the time, I don't remember his last name was Paul Bauer.
Paul
He came
Bauer.
out, I had to move my whole house. The entire plans had to change because I didn't realize my lots weren't joined. I own 2. And it was like 2 feet across. And he said, you can't do that.
Well, I mean,
We
if your
stopped
house wasn't 400 feet long,
Hey,
you wouldn't have had
We
a problem
stopped
with that.
construction right then and had to move the whole thing, move the driveway, but it got caught because somebody in the hills came out and looked. I don't know whether he was ACC or. I thought he
And,
was-
Well, I guess the big question is, you know, you asked, well, how does Highway Hills screw this up? Well, whoever approved the addition to the house and everything through the ACC, the management committee.
Yeah, and we don't even know if they did approve it.
Yeah,
Well, that's why you have to look at the file.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
done this before, believe me.
yeah.
So I
But
know-
to Eric's
yeah.
point, I mean, title,
You may or
that's
may
what
not
title
find it,
insurance
but-
does. I mean, when you find a flaw like that from a previous owner, you're covered. you know, and that's it in and of itself. That's why you buy
I don't
title
think so
insurance.
either,
But
But I'm getting into
Um,
the, I can't play. attorney.
we may go back upstream on this and never find out
Can
how.
we, do you think, table this till next month and in the interim, try and figure out what happened?
Yeah, well, as long as Chris, you know,
Yeah,
Chris
fine.
needs the, just get an answer
We're not
for what he's
looking
trying
to
to do.
take your money on
Yeah,
this one. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
The money's in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's,
The money is
Yeah.
really a moot
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
you know, it's just that there's an error in filing of the deeds and everything
Yeah.
from 2001 to present,
Yeah,
and this all needs straightened out.
yeah. I think probably jumped ship back 3
Well-
owners when they did all the title work
well,
for it.
see, and I remember when, and I was on the board when we had to start, when we decided to start getting into this vacating the easement stuff. And it had to do with one particular person who wanted to build his garage over the lot lines and said so, but at the time, part of the reason that was done was because we said, well, we got to do this basically because we know people have been doing it for years. The precedent is there. People have been building over these lot lines for years, and we had proof. I can't remember what all the proof were, but that particular person brought it in and said, here,
Much more
this is the-
loosey goosey.
that's correct. And so we're kind of like, well, this is what we got to do, and we found the way to do it. But I don't know that retroactively you can, but now I'm trying to play attorney and I'm not going to go there, but
I
I
think
don't know
Chris,
that you.
Chris wanted to add
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Chris and Chris.
Yes.
um, John and I are sitting back here. This is not an uncommon problem. We have a house on the lake. They wanted to enlarge their, what was it, cabana? I think that's what it was. And the house is built smack across the property line, 2 lots. And the lots are not joined, and it's sitting in an easement that hasn't been waived. And this house was built some time ago. And we know of other situations. We require, in order to obtain a building permit, that the lots be joined. And so we
For
just
him to
say,
do a fence, he'd have to have them join.
right, yeah. So we just say,
If the fence crosses the lot line. Or not,
we're getting picky, I guess,
okay.
in that if your house is sitting across a property line,
Yeah.
the lot should be joined. We wouldn't be
But
picky
in
over
this
a
case, we're talking
fence.
about a fence,
But
right?
yeah,
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 So-
but when someone gives us a site plan and a survey, and there's the house sitting right across a property line, we say it should be joined. One of the benefits of that is by building code, you now have a parcel. And if you don't have a parcel but have 2 lots, you have a building setback line running down that property line.
well, see, and here it has a parcel number for each lot, rather than just,
Which county are you in?
I'm in Hocking.
Hocking keeps a parcel number for each lot.
Okay.
Fairfield, when you join the lots, Fairfield redoes the numbering and gives you 1 parcel.
So to put a bow on tonight's discussion, we got some more work to do. on
Yeah,
this.
to-
We need
to
to
look
pull the
at it.
file,
Yeah.
take a look at what's transpired.
Yeah.
There may be notes in there. We've found handwritten notes from people, you know, dating back to
Yeah.
Jim Palmer on
Yeah.
stuff. So let's dig into it a little bit deeper if it's not gonna hold you back here immediately.
And
And-
some of this stuff dates back to Mr. Childress.
Yeah, he was a board president. Yeah.
Now, one of the things we've discovered, and I may not have all my facts straight here, when lots are joined, the joinder is supposed to be recorded in your county. And mine is recorded in Hocking. And it shows up, it was recorded by the previous owner. The lots were joined by the previous owner and recorded by the previous owner, and that joinder showed up in my title. And then I was told by the office, and I believe this was Penny, that as time progresses, this seems to disappear from the title. I don't know why it would, but there is somebody, and I can't remember the incident right now, where they went to the recorder's office and found the joinder, but the office didn't have a copy of it. And
Okay.
so,
Okay.
so you might want to check with the county and see what they might have.
They have any
And-
record of a joint of lots being joined,
Right, yeah, we call a joinder,
a person.
the,
The lot joinder language.
doing the paperwork,
Right.
the legal work to combine the lots such that you
Yeah.
could never subdivide them and sell them as
Gotcha.
separate lots.
Good,
That's what we
good
call the joinder.
information.
We'll look
Yeah.
into it.
Something.
Yep.
So
All right,
it's
thank
worth
you.
What you
researching.
just said in Hockey County, they will not split, join those lots legally, they'll always give the two parcels.
They don't change the parcel number, but in Fairfield they do.
Right.
Yeah, that's
why And so-
That causes some problems, yes. I know.
Yeah, not for Fairfield,
Well,
not for
Fairfield
Houghton,
didn't
just for
used to-
Hideaway Hills.
Fairfield didn't used to do that either. They
Right.
When I get a day, I'll go down to the county
Yeah.
recorder's office.
And
do
just-
some research.
Yeah, do some research, because maybe
You
they're,
guys can research the records here in the meantime,
Yep.
and we'll see
what's
what we
in
can
the
come
yeah,
up with.
and let us know what you find,
Will do.
because you
Okay.
might find that
All
they're
right.
All
joined.
right.
All right,
thank you.
thanks, Chris and Chris.
Yep,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Chris.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of them.
Old business topics, committee guidelines, vote. Annie Carrick?
Go,
Yeah.
Annie.
Yeah, I'm not going through the whole committee guidelines. It was really just to remind you guys that last month we put forth a proposal from the ad hoc committee to establish these committee guidelines. And so I would like to make a motion that we accept those guidelines.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Okay.
Very in depth.
So Annie made the motion to, for us to vote on it, to accept the committee guidelines that we've all had in front of us. Who was second?
Me.
Second was Linda Hodge.
No discussion?
No discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Nice job, Annie.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Very nice.
thanks, John.
Technology update, Annie
Yeah.
Kerrigan.
Just real quick, so our committee has met again with the three finalists that we have. We pulled together a pretty long list of in-depth questions, ranging from how long have they been established? How many clients do they have? What's their system architecture, yada, yada, yada. And so after having those discussions, we met again yesterday and decided that we're going to eliminate one of the three and we're down to two. So our next steps are to meet with a couple of reference accounts that we've requested from them so that we can talk to their clients and get a little bit more information about, what their customer service has been like and so on and so forth. And then also to get some final bids.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Yep.
New members, Linda Hodge.
Okay, no club owned lots sold, only one or couple new members this month, Crystal A and Joseph M. Fink, lot 295. So I move to accept the new members.
I'll second.
Seconded by Linda Lonzinger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, that being said, we will now adjourn to executive session.
We get a motion. I move that we adjourn to executive session.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, Andy, if you would. Don't be talking about anything quite yet. We gotta
Okay.
get us in the breakout room.
Okay.
You know that?
That's for those are full inches.
Thank you.
Wow,
for doing-
Andy.
doing Like Alexa.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Board of Trustees meeting for Hideaway Hills Club, May 17th, 2022. In executive session, we are moving forward with our update and the green space lots. We have decided to move forward with the gifted lot proposal. We have accepted the offer on the club lots. We are finalizing the request to abandon the unused cul-de-sac. And we have decided to move forward with our Article 9 to be held in next month's board meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Doug Parker, seconded by Cabot Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Guys, thank you. Good Lord.
Do you want to take the